Good morning. It's Friday, June 14th. We are not going to be installing any synthetic grass today because we are headed to a training session hosted by Rymar Artificial Grass here in New Jersey. So hopefully we'll learn a few tips and tricks. Of course, we're going to have a little bit of fun. You better go grab your boots. I'm going to go pick up the guys. Come on, let's get this day rolling. Man. Need a bigger vehicle. Let's go pick up Willie from the bagel shop. Dom texted me this morning, really early this morning, saying he will not be able to make it today, which is a shame because I think he would benefit more from it than the rest of the guys.
Here when you said that, were you?
What?
The message?
Yeah. What's up? What's up, Willie?
Maybe it was the glare in the window. I'm like, where? I'm looking all over.
Oh, it's back here. Maybe you can't even see it from I'm behind the pole.
Yeah, but I was literally sitting right there.
Oh.
That first. Where's your shirt, man?
We're not working today. Where are all the cars at? Where are the cars at?
They got training.
You might want to go on the other side.
Let's just pick up.
He's your brother, I don't know. He's at the club. Morning. Where are all the cars at? It's dirty. It's really dirty.
That's all from last night.
Jeez. Cheese, man. Cheese and crackers.
I'm gonna be like, how do I use this?
I'm new here.
You go like this. It's a push blade now.
I'm new here. School's in session, boys. Well, I'll record it for Dom. Do you have a blade, Wilson?
I have a serrated one.
Yeah.
All right, the 17.
This should be fun.
Like 8 months. I'm like, nope. Look at this video. You said it yourself. Oh, this is like gym bag. It's chilly in here.
Check that out.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Joe.
Florian.
Nice to meet you.
Will.
Well, awesome. Nice to meet you guys, Florian.
We're here for the training session.
You're with All Season?
That's correct.
Okay, awesome. We're ready for you. Victor just went out to get some coffees and donuts and stuff. So
Okay.
I'm
Is that-
guessing you've picked up from here before. You're familiar with the...
Quite a few times, yes.
Okay, good, good, good.
Yes, but if you want to walk through all the materials and products, getting understanding of everything that you guys sell, as far as like the wall coverings and the rubber floor mattings, mostly landscaping turf and putting green turf is what we purchased in the past.
Okay, sounds good. So that's the plan, to go through everything and then focus on whatever you guys want to focus. So there might be some stuff that's redundant, like how to cut turf. We'll show you. We have a recommendation. I'm not going to tell you how to do your business or how to do seams, because I know people do S-shaped seams and all kinds of, in my opinion, more complicated. Just cut it straight down.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll go through that, and then again, less theory, more hands-on. Like, okay, we'll get pieces of turf and.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Feel free to bring up whatever you have interest in. I'll do a quick presentation of everything in a tour, but really I want you to take out as much value as you can. Roam around. He'll be back in 2 minutes.
He's late.
This is gonna be where we sit and talk, and then we go in and
Okay.
do that. So yeah, make yourself some home.
Whatever we can do to make things a little bit more efficient and effective, we're all ears. I mean, of course, you guys are the manufacturers of your products, so I'm assuming you have best practices and best methods for doing these things.
Yeah.
And we just want to kind of, pick your brain about what we've been doing, what's worked, and obviously try to figure out if there's some tips and tricks that can make our daily life a little easier, a little faster, and a little better for the customer.
Yeah, that's the idea. I like getting hands on. I did a lot of installs, putting greens.
Okay.
So we don't just sell it, we actually know our product. So
that's awesome.
So before you You were using art tape and see what were you doing the self-adhesive tape or how were you doing seams?
No, we were never using the self-adhesive tape. You're talking about the grip right tape.
Yeah. I don't like it and I don't recommend it. Not because we don't sell it. We don't sell it because we don't like it. So I'll show you a much simpler, much easier way to do seams, and I guarantee to you that you will never have any issues. Nails. This is, only around the perimeter. So that's what holds down the turf around the perimeter. And then in the body of the turf, the weight is provided by the infill sand. 1 pound per square foot. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if it's a 750 square foot installation, you have 700 pounds of sand sitting on it. It's not going anywhere. The way we recommend doing the seams is, let's say you have piece number 1, you cut it into place and you nail it down temporarily so it doesn't go anywhere, and you use that as a reference for the second piece. You do the same with the second piece. You bring it where you want it to be. You put a few nails through it or sandbags on it so it stays there. Use the second one as a reference to the third one. And then when you do the nails, the seams, once they're done, just keep a few nails in each piece. The seam itself doesn't need pressure for, to set. You just walk it every 10 minutes. You walk it once for the first hour. After that, let it sit, and that's it. You can still walk on it.
Sure.
It's only a recommendation, to be honest. Like in Miami, they do everything differently.
Oh, they pin it down like carpet, staple it all over the place.
Exactly. There's no base.
Yeah, I know. It's all sand down there anyway.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Like they have turf installed for $6. $6 installed on the ground. I'm like, how is that even possible? We'll
wait for the other guys, but with you quickly, he has 9 years of experience working with 2 different companies, this one and another one prior. I've also worked with another one prior. Both of those, the companies that we worked for, specialize in daycares and playground surfacing. So, you're doing a lot of seams underneath existing jungle gyms that are cemented down into the ground. Not only foam installations, but the air grid panels, some taller pile turf and others, the shorter sports field turf on different sports applications.
Yeah.
So on my own, selling the jobs and doing the installation, he's been with me. And then he joined last year, so he has about 2 years of experience. That's just kind of the overview.
It's good. You guys know what you're doing. That's why. Like I said, take everything I say with a grain of salt. It's good information. It's proven to work. I've done it myself many times.
Good.
I've done, maybe 150 training sessions.
Okay.
And it works, but if you have stuff that works for you, maybe like I said, you take certain elements or.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I guess we won't be covering most of that stuff there.
Go through the whole thing, because he's a newbie.
Yeah.
And his brother joined us too, like last month. So.
Good. He should be here.
He needs it more than all of us, but he was out drinking last night, I guess.
Although
I got the 3 a.m. text message. I'm not going to make it tomorrow.
So what's your season like? When do you stop working here? November, December? Do you stop?
So because of global warming, we're so grateful of that. It hasn't snowed in like 3 years.
Yeah.
So we go all the way up until the ground is frozen. Because once the ground is frozen, I don't know about you, but it's hard as heck to try to pickaxe and move and manipulate the dirt. But in addition to that, once it freezes, it expands. So all the water in the moisture expands. So if we put the ground base on top of that, and then it thaws out, it's going to sink. And then that's where you get the undulations. So we'll go up until October, November, December. As long as the ground's not frozen, we're good to go. But for us, we've had nothing but crazy rain for the past 2 years. And luckily, it's been good for the most part. About 2 months ago, before that, it was just raining. All last year, we got completely washed out, had ground-based problems left and right, significant delays just because we couldn't get out to dig in the dirt. So, we typically wait until after that spring rain season goes away. So we'll pick up in February if it's warm enough and there's no rain, or as late as April if it's still raining. But the weather clearly is a determinant factor on when we pull the trigger to start or stop.
Yeah. No, that's in line with most of the Northeast regions. If you go a little bit further north of here, they go till November late October, November, and they almost never start before the end of mid-March, end of March.
Yeah.
We have some installers in South Jersey, like 2-3 hours. Well, yeah, some of them don't stop. I even see people that cover the area. They have heaters, but
Yeah. Well, we work from New York all the way down to Cape May, which is South Jersey,
yeah.
and then Long Island, like Bay Shore area, which is like I don't know, Bethpage,
Yeah.
out to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, where I'm originally from. So we have a pretty wide service area.
Good. That's awesome.
But
Do you guys do anything else, like other than turf, or you just focus on turf?
I mean, he does porn. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was like, why are you even here? But no, he's a full-time synthetic grass installers.
Awesome.
I mean, he's a semi-pro pool player, and
No, he's not joking.
and
I'm going to
I don't know. Well,
I'm
like
going to
porn-
Vegas in August for a pool tournament.
and he's going to Vegas because he has a show to
Yeah.
do.
Same hotel.
But
Same room.
like, business expense.
Business pleasure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, this is what we do full time. Obviously during the winter months, we're either trying to fill gaps with selling jobs for the next season, or doing. I mean, we have a home improvement contractor license as well under the business, so we can do other work, but we just get a lot more enjoyment out of the before and afters and the turf installation process that we solely and primarily focus on that as our sales.
Good. Well, again, this is our first year at this location, and our everything north of here is big on rubber products as well. We have the samples here. I have a few pallets of product, but for the next winter, I want to build that really, really big, because we keep a lot of our contractors busy in the winter with rubber work, the gym installations.
Okay.
Maybe it's not as much in the first few years. It's not as much as you make with turf, but it can grow. And for us as a wholesaler, it's grown. We just brought it in to cover the winter expenses, and since then we now have like a huge business just for rubber.
Okay.
So that works well in the winter because it's mostly indoor. So
Yeah.
you can pick and choose. So we'll have leads on that as well once we come in heavy. But the first year the focus was to put the product in the market to let people know we're here. And,
Sure.
so
Okay.
that I feel like we're now, we've accomplished that. So
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we've done gym flooring before with the rubber tiles and the big sheets. I mean, I think they were 6 feet wide by whatever.
4x25. That's what we
Yeah.
carry.
But we also do rooftop decks,
gonna say we do.
gyms with like sports turf inside gyms and yoga
Yeah.
studios. So there's other opportunities when the ground is not able to be dug. But yeah, of course, we'd love to get into the whole gym flooring. For us, marketing and advertising with that, our name doesn't just say synthetic grass, it's all season services. So
Yeah.
technically we could get into that pretty easily. We just don't know the first step of like where to advertise, where to market, and of course,
Well,
the understanding of the products to be able to sell
We'll
those.
work with you, and I'll have training on that as well. So when people walk in here, we don't just like, oh, I like this one here. How much do you want? So we try to understand, because it's to the customer's benefit, and then also it makes your job easier, because once they selected what they want, knowing why that's good for them. So to give you an example, when people, a lot of the conversations start with, oh, we want pet turf, right? And because DuraPet has the name pet in it, everyone's like, oh, that one. Oh, okay, yeah. So I guess I'm thinking, yeah, but is it for a dedicated dog run or dog area, or it's for the backyard, but you just happen to have a dog or 2 dogs? And like, no, it's for the backyard around the pool. I'm like, okay, any of these will work.
Yeah.
Don't get the short, stiff, just because it's got the name pet in it. Get something that you like, a nicer color, something vibrant, so they're all pet safe. So we try to steer them in the right direction. So
Yeah, of course.
just take the easy way out.
But it's also lack of customer knowledge. It's
Yeah.
it's new products. It's not readily available. They are starting to put them in big box hardware stores, but to be honest with you, most of the stuff in there is complete crap.
It's subpar, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but just the quality, it's just like,
Oh, I know, it's big
even
time.
subpar doesn't describe it. It's just terrible.
There's a lot of other new competitors and new manufacturers getting to the world. Shaw, Traffic Master, some of those things that are big names in those box stores for vinyl flooring or hardwood floors are now just saying, oh, well, we can make that too. And they go out to the same China warehouses and get them manufactured and ship them over here. But we prefer to have, an understanding of where those products are manufactured and deal with them on a daily basis so that we can install them correctly.
Of course. Sounds good. Gonna grab some coffees.
Sure.
Made it back.
I already have coffee. If he gets coffee, he'll be running around here seaming everything up.
We'll give these guys 10 minutes, the other guys to show up.
Yeah, no problem.
It's all right here, guys.
All right. In the cream-filled one? Nah. The Boston creams?
My fingers are too fat.
Ginger. Give me one of these glazed ones. It's electric. How much of a pain in the butt that would be?
There's like a 2-inch potting
Which one? This one?
green turf. Yeah. And not that has
No, this is for a chipping box, a tea box.
clouds.
Wilson, man. Instead of the real boxwoods, we could have got those and put them in that lady's backyard. Man.
Pet odor elimination.
They'll last forever.
Oh.
You should have just used that, Jim. That Herbicide.
The what?
The bottle.
What is that?
Pet odor elimination.
That's just...
Almost glue.
What is it made of? Please note it is impossible for Uricide not to work. If you are still experiencing odor problems on your turf, you may not have installed it correctly. Please read these instructions again.
That's what it says?
Yeah, it says you are a moron.
Get some water.
Look at this guy. Yo, this isn't your house. You just can't move shit around.
Look, it's fake dirt.
Oh my god, it's fake dirt.
Yeah, everything here is fake.
The turf is fake.
What is
The
real?
dirt is fake.
What is real?
The soap is fake.
This wall, fake.
The wall's definitely real.
The seminar, fake.
It's real.
How we doing, Jim?
Good morning.
How's everything?
How are you?
Can't complain.
Good, good.
Friday?
It is Friday. It's nice out. It's not raining.
No.
We're gonna get some lessons. Somebody's got to tell me how to cut turf.
You do it every day.
We do have specific questions though about, best practices for cutting straight lines.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely gonna,
So,
not only talk about it, but
oh, we're gonna do it.
we're gonna do it hands-on as well.
These guys brought their knives, so that's good.
Like where we're working at, where we're working near, whatever they have. Like if we're in North Jersey, maybe South Jersey, they have different stone dust.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I noticed that everything's called different in every area.
Yeah, some of them are like limestone, or some that has more sand, some that has more concrete in it.
Yeah. Did you use foam or any of these panels before? If you,
Yes.
yeah.
Foam for like playgrounds, and ball areas, panels when it's like on a rooftop or on a concrete area.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, and then for putting greens, when it comes to base, we recommend doubling up on the. So if you're working with 4 inches of crushed stone for regular landscaping turf, do 7-8 inches for putting greens, just to keep that cup to make sure that 4 or 5 years down the road it's still straight. It doesn't come out of the winter tilted to the side, and now you have to dig up the whole thing. And, okay. And the undulations you control with the fines on top, right? You don't.
So we would put in at least 2 to 3 inches of stone dust, and we would rough grade out the earth, grade and compact that down, try to get as much air and water out of that as we can, and then use the stone dust to create those. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's good
And
stuff.
we've heard stories where people try to use masonry sand or some other, finer aggregate, but the problem is on some putting greens they do have drainage holes. So what's going to happen is that sand will essentially erode out in certain areas, and you'll get little ruts underneath the turf.
Yeah.
So we don't use the fine sand
A
as
lot of the hardscapers are using sand, and I always try to get in front of that. Say no, don't use sand. It works with stone, but
correct.
with the turf, either that will happen, the washout, or eventually, you know, it'll give way. So now you're walking on it. It feels like you're walking on the
it
beach.
doesn't
in snow.
compact as well.
Yeah, you need stone dust. You need it to stay compacted.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Uricide? Do you ever run into issues of, you know, smells like urine on the turf?
Yeah.
So that's a very cheap solution. So the 32 ounce can be diluted to 5 gallons. We just basically spray the air. It comes with a spray head. You dilute it, you spray it down, let it sit for 10 minutes, rinse it through, and it will neutralize the smell. If, let's say, you know, it's a fairly big yard, but the dogs prefer to go to the same spots all the time, or the turf was installed before all this special infill came out, it was only sand. For pet installations, whenever you can use zeolite, it really works really, really well. I don't know if you've used it already in any of your jobs, but
We do not. So what is the benefit or composition of zeolite, and how is it different than, say, Envirofill?
so what it is, it's an organic rock. It's ground up to this size, to this finer size. It naturally has these properties to pull out toxins. So it's used widely. So it's organic, first of all. That's the number one difference from Envirofill, because Envirofill is plastic and infused with microban. So at the end of the day, you know, people move away from silica because it's not the healthiest thing to breathe in for you when you install it, and for the client to have laying in the backyard, you know, 700 pounds of it or 500 pounds or whatever. Envirofill is a step up because it's coated in the plastic and it's got that microban infusion which prevents the bacteria from growing inside the turf. Zeolite is 100% organic, and you know, these big spills when the train, you know, there was this last one in Ohio, they use zeolite to contain it basically, you just dump it on top and it sucks up all the crap and you just sweep it out and then you take it away. So it's that good, but as it relates to our activities here, it basically traps the ammonia in the urine on contact. So the dog pee on it, this will trap it, the first rain will rinse it right through. So you will prevent the urine smell from forming in the turf.
So can I ask, from a project that's already been installed with, say, silica sand, would it be beneficial to now drop zeolite and broom that into a turf project?
You could do that, yeah. I don't see why not.
Okay.
Because, you know, even the shortest turf we have, it can easily handle 2 pounds of infill. So
Yeah.
we don't recommend, you don't need to spend extra money to put 2 pounds. But you could, if there's something where you have a concern, or if there's already a problem, I would first treat it with the Uricide.
Okay.
And what I've been recommending, actually, because it's so cheap and it's so effective, it works so well, what you can do, if you know they have dogs, you can get this. We also sell it in a gallon, but regardless, you spray the base before you lay the turf down. So you're pre-treating the base, and then once the turf is installed, use zeolite. There's no way that's going to smell.
Okay.
So, and again, it doesn't really cost you anything. So the good thing about zeolite, it's that it's cheaper than Envirofill. So it's in between silica and Envirofill. It's less expensive, but it's really, really, really good stuff.
So is it the same 50-pound bags?
It's 55. For some reason, the zeolite comes in 55-pound bags.
Okay.
And it doesn't come. It's not available in the finer ground, in the 30-60 or the, you know, for putting greens.
Yeah. Okay.
For putting greens, I'm sure you already know from experience, if it's going in an open area with lots of sun, the flint silica will do just fine. If it's going into a shaded area or there's more water, more moisture, you want to go with the Envirofill, because it will keep the moss from forming. And as a general rule, we recommend that you don't use the power broom when doing the infill on putting greens. But if it was built with silica, and we've had some of those come up, and there's moss in there, you should use the power broom to try to get that out. Like it will brush it out and then put Envirofill.
Yeah. So it'll agitate it and then your leaf blow it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but yeah, zeolite. If I was to, you know, if they ever told me, okay, we have to just go down to one product, definitely hands down, without thinking, I'd go with zeolite. Good stuff. And a lot of the turf these days, I mean, This is fairly new product, it's a few years old, but before that, there wasn't much available. So I think the problem will come up, that's why I mentioned the Euroside and Zeolite.
Yeah.
There'll be people that will say, yeah, artificial grass is nice, but it smells like pee, it's filled now.
Is that a constant application that needs to be done? Say like every 2 years, 3 years, or?
No, it's the same as all the other infill. You apply it once, and then in the spring, that's when most reapplications happen. So when you give it a brush, depending on how much snow, if any, or ice accumulation there was throughout the winter, if you see that there are spots where the grass is still laying down, you add a little bit of infill just to that area, brush it up, and that's it. But at no point do I think you'll have to like redo the whole area.
Yeah.
Unless it's 10 years old and it started to look bad, you can then just redo it.
Or if another installer installed it,
Yeah.
unlike us. We're professionals.
So you do infill on every job? It's
Every single job except for an indoor job.
good. See, that's still a battle because a lot of people skip it.
Skip infilling?
Skip infill, yeah, and they're like, we don't do it. And we have some big contractors with lots of jobs. I was doing training in Florida, and the biggest buyer there, his company is called Grass My Ass.
Grass my ass, huh?
They
Well, I
They
kiss
do
my
a lot.
grass. Kiss my grass.
they do a lot of installs, and he was saying it proudly. He's like, "Oh, we don't use any infill. We don't need, just." I'm like, "Oh my god!" But again, the weight element, or there's grass in the market that they say it doesn't require infill. That's more like a selling feature for retail customers who just want the quick and easy. But you need the weight first of all, and there's no other way to add that weight to the turf. So no infill is a no-go. And then of course making sure that the blades stay up.
Yeah.
Okay, have you been inside the warehouse?
We have, yeah, but if you want to walk us
Yeah,
through.
let's-
Yeah, we're gonna start there?
Let's go for a tour. Yeah, I'll show you what we have, how we store it. You can. So this is our sample area. We have 12 by 12s, and then we do 18 by 18s for the sample racks.
Okay.
I guess you guys, if you ever open an office or you have a showroom where you want to display it, customers coming in, we'll be
You have
happy
that
to
right
put
still,
it.
right, Joe?
I do, yes.
I gave him
okay.
a right.
Yeah, we had a hometown fair, so we displayed it there. It was like 60,000 people that came to the fair.
Good. I'm not sure if you work with bender board or edging, whatever you call it. If you use it and if you buy it from us, but just so you know, we do have it in 50-foot rolls, or we have the 20-foot sheets,
Okay.
and we have the spikes with them. We have a contractor that always uses it, and they like to have the grass go like this and then staple it
Over
here,
the
so
front
there's-
face, yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you ever need, we do carry it.
Okay.
Same with the nailer board.
Are they all in black?
Yes. Shock pads, they're on the way in right now. There's a shortage of soft pads in North America. We have a truckload. So the 1¼ inch is ready for us, and they're working on the 2¼ inch. So I told them to ship the half that's ready. But yeah, they're available. And the 1¼ inch gives you 2 feet of fall safety rating, and the 2¼ doubles that, and you can put up to 2 sheets. But just so you know, so if there's a requirement for a playground and they say it's got to be 8 feet, the easiest way to accomplish that is to add 2 layers of the 2¼ inch. So obviously you skip the fines and just install it. I don't know how you've been installing the soft pad, but what we recommend is there's a tape, it's like a duct tape, just from the top, hold the panels together. With soft pad, it's recommended that you do edging, just to keep it together, and also it gives you that ability to staple the turf onto the edges, right? Putting a nail through this is not really the best way to install it. If people want extra softness in the backyard, I wouldn't go to this because it's a big expense. It's really not necessary. Like most of our turf is soft enough for kids to play in the background. So it's a similar conversation to the one with pet turf.
Sure.
They think they need it, but they don't. So that's the zeolite that I was telling you about. 40 bags on a pallet. By the way, when you're picking up, your order, you can have it on a pallet or you can have it loosely and we'll load it up to your truck. So it's up to you. It doesn't cost anything to have it on a pallet. We'll load it up. It's, you know, whatever works better for you. Your side. This is more of this stuff here. So it's non-toxic, biodegradable. It's really, really good stuff. Probably familiar with this machine here.
Yes.
So basically the main roll goes there. We put a tube. We put a tube on every cut we give you just for the integrity of it, because, you know, especially in the summer, the backing gets soft. It's easy to stretch. That's why we recommend don't fold the turf. Don't, you know, try to always keep it on the tube. We will always wrap and tag every roll. We recommend that before installation, if possible, roll out the turf so it softens up. It's much easier to work with. Again, zeolite. We have silica, both for the putting greens and landscaping. So we have both the 6 and 10 inch. We have the landscaping cloth. I don't know if you buy it from us or. I actually prefer the 10 inch. That's proper grip, not going anywhere. But from my experience installing, the putting green turf is the only one that doesn't hide the head. Even for the Durapet, the short one, the other one is good.
They're good?
You know, if you dig a little bit and, you know, before when you're all the way down.
Just do better, guys.
So, you know, when you got about an inch of it left there, then just clear out the fibers and hit it down.
Okay.
You probably already know you don't want to hit it down too hard, because then what it does, it pulls the turf down and you see all the curls wherever. Landscaping cloth, greenery. I don't know if you've seen it, if you've used it, but this is phenomenal product because it's very, very cheap. It's very high quality. And for you to build an accent wall or to cover a fence or to build something like a privacy thing around a deck or a barbecue area, it'll cost you a few $100.
Okay.
It looks amazing and you can sell it for a lot more than that. It's on plastic, soft plastic backing. So you can staple it, you can zip tie it to a chain link fence. There's so many ways you can install it.
Oh.
So the panels connect to each other with this male-female business.
You can't say that now. It's binary or non-binary.
I know, but this is the landscaping business.
That's true.
We can still it could be black and white about
Exactly.
it. So
I thought they were like rigid panels.
no. Look, so even a post you can wrap it around.
Yeah.
And there's 4 shorter ones, out of which this is the longest, fern. But we have boxwood light, fern, and benjamina. And the walls that are decorated inside the showroom, they're all with this material.
So you sell them in the box or by?
No, you.
Okay.
There's no minimum, so that's another thing. There's no minimum order requirement. If you
Okay.
need 2 panels, you get 2 panels, or a bag of something, or a gallon, or a jug of, you know. So
Okay.
There's no minimum.
Okay, awesome.
We have lots of it, and there's more coming all the time. Office buildings have moved to creating accent walls with these. They used to have living walls, but if you ever had to maintain one, you know that
It's very costly.
it's costly and it's
Yeah.
doesn't work. So
No. That looks cool.
build
It's
it.
really cool.
it's another reason why we're a one-stop shop, so you can literally place your order, it'll go to the job. You just, you know, send your people there and you don't have to pay for expensive storage. So everything that comes in here comes in a full container at a time. We don't order 10 rolls or 5 rolls. Everything's full containers for 2 reasons. First of all, so that we can maintain the die lots. So if you come back in a month from now and say, hey, I need more because they changed their mind, they want to add more to it. A die lot change, if they go side by side, it will show. If you have something in between, then you can get away with it. But so again, a truckload, a container at a time, which is typically 46 to 50 rolls. So you can count on us always having a lot of that material.
Awesome.
And because we have 10 warehouses, what we do, like just yesterday we had an email from Toronto. They're doing a movie set. They need 150,000 square feet. So instead of depleting one of their warehouses, they said, hey, can everybody send 25 rolls, right? So in a week, there you can produce any amount of turf for, you know, any kind. They're all color coded, so there's different types. And you can see that everything is, see the die lots. So we worry about the die lot. If you came back and asked us, hey, I need more of that material, we'll automatically look back and see what dialogue was it, and if we don't have it, we'll say, hey, just so you know, we don't have the same. So is it going adjacent to the
Good. Okay.
to the old piece? I like to stress this out, even though we're a big company, you know, the reason I like it, we're not a corporate structure with 99 layers of approvals. It's Victor, it's me, that's it. There's
Yeah.
nobody else that needs to approve. So anytime that you think you have an idea or something you want to have your own training, or you want to do a video session, you need the space, or in the winter you want to do something, no problem. This is your backyard if you need it. So
I appreciate that.
whatever comes to your mind, you know, let us know. And
Okay.
we'll
You
work
got it.
with you.
Well, I could tell you what, I could use a motorcycle. You got one back there?
Beach trails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe take it to California,
Yeah.
down to Florida a few times.
Awesome.
Desert camping and all kinds of cool stuff. There's probably still Mojave Desert sand in it somewhere. Only the rain washes it.
But that's what it's for. Go have
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
with it, you know?
It's not for the showroom for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
Anyway.
all of these are 15-foot rolls? Do you
15 by 100.
Okay.
We have two of them that would just be too heavy if we made them 15 by 100, and those are the thicker ones, the Everblade 80 and the Durblade 95.
Okay.
A 15 by 100 would just weigh a ton. And we don't care because our machine can handle it, but we do have dealers that buy 2-3 rolls at a time and they cut it on site. I don't know what your style is. My preference is always, you know, just have it cut here and then you put it together like a puzzle, like A, B, C, D. Easier for you to carry. But some of them is like, no, just give me 4 rolls.
Yeah.
We also have contractors that work with 2 types of turf and that's it.
Okay.
So to make their job easier, the heavy ones, we make them 15 by 50.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So
but
then
everything else is 15. So yeah, most of these rolls here each are 1,500 square feet.
Okay. So if you have any tricks on how to butt cut or seam those 250 pieces together, because we get jobs that are
Oh,
you know
yeah.
80 feet, 70 feet, 120 feet. If you have any tips or tricks for us to be able to put those
We'll
butt cuts
cover that.
together,
We'll do hands-on stuff.
that would be very helpful.
Gerard, how are you? Good. Nice to see you.
How's it going, Joe? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so we'll do hands-on seaming again, just to show you how we do it, how we recommend it, and then, you know, if you like it, you can use it. Good day, gentlemen.
How you doing? Gusto, Dennis, and Shiny.
Gentlemen, how are you?
So yeah, so we're just taking a tour of the storage facility here. So you already know the stuff.
Yeah.
We gave you the tour last year, but
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations on either recycling the tubes or getting rid of the tubes? Because we find that to be very difficult to either throw away or try to recycle.
no, I don't actually. We're in the process. We're working with a company that they're actually making the edging and the nailer board. They will take the turf with the infill in it, so your old turf, and they'll throw it back in and recycle it and come out with. But there's, you know, it's a huge project all over the U.S.
Yeah.
So they're working on setting up those collection
Okay.
centers, but at some point we will be able to feel better about what's going on. So to answer your question, I don't know what to do with the tubes. If you're gonna bring them back, we'll take them.
Usually they're bent because we're
Oh.
manhandling them, or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
forklift destroyed them, so they're not able to be reused in that regard. But we just
I don't have
would
it.
like yeah, we'll burn them.
Sorry. Yeah, that's it. If anybody's asking for gym, for home gyms, for stuff like that, you're talking to our retail customers. This is the 8 mil. It's super good product. They're interlocking tiles, but it's such good quality that once you lay it down, the interlocking mechanism are not visible. Like, especially with a little bit of color fleck in it, it just throws the eye. But what I'm saying, the problem with interlocking tiles generally is that the edges have the tendency to
Curl up. Yeah.
curl up. These won't curl up. Like if I was to cover this whole area, you would think it's rolled and glued down.
Is it reinforced with some kind of metal or
I
something
don't,
in
I,
there?
no. It's just the way it's
Just
made.
just the way it's made.
Yeah, really good quality. Every once in a while we have a manufacturer come to us for distribution because
Yeah.
we're already in the business, and as I put it down on the desk, I can already see the edges
it-
curling up. I'm like,
Is it because it's laminated?
no.
Spoke to Victor.
The 5 millimeter foam, you mean?
I got you, man, for your backyard.
Hey, let me see. Yeah, you could. Oh, this is so much better than yours.
That's what I'm saying. The shit. When the sun hits it, it's all wavy.
You gotta call Victor up.
I know, I might need to get some of this. I couldn't find any of this.
So are these all universal? That doesn't match. What the hell? Oh, maybe it's like that?
Seaming tape. Are you guys using our seaming tape or a glue, or you have your own?
Yeah, we're using your seam
Okay,
tape. Yeah.
perfect. So again, when we order glue, once we go under 150 jugs, we order a few more pallets. And whenever we order glue, we order seaming tape as well. So best practice is to always have a roll for rolling the trucks, but if not, we sell it by the foot if you need to. We have the rubber in different colors. So you'll see that this is more, like that is more dense because this has 20% color and that is 50% color. So it's a little bit more expensive. The most popular one we sell is this one. It's very cheap. It's like 10 bucks per tile or something like that. And a little bit of, you know, gray throws off the eye. The problem with all black, we have these as well. They'll show every print, every fingerprint, every footprint. So you don't want to go.
Every piece of dirt.
Yes, everything. So always get a little bit of color.
Okay.
And then this here is the same, but in a roll format. I was saying 4 by 25, so it's 100 square foot per roll. These require full glue down. These don't. These you can just place them down. So
Okay.
this is a more complex job. You have to clean the surface.
Okay.
Full glue down.
Do you guys do like epoxy color floors or anything like that? Just the rubber products?
Rubber products.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, infill in large amounts. I don't know if you've used these panels from us. I see that Gerard just showed me a job with these lock panels.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then you know. Most of the people that work with them, they love them. Our previous type of panel was also very, very good quality, but they clicked in from the side. The beauty of these is if you have to replace the panel, you just basically lift out that panel. Yeah, listen,
I saw you did a seam in there with a putting green. I like how that looked.
Yeah, that's why I brought those in there, and then we'll come back here and we'll do, you know, the butt seams and all kinds of seams the way we do them. And yeah, if you like the method, you'll see that it's strikingly easy to do what you see in there. And like I said, if you guys want to try and pull them apart, feel free to attack those pieces. They're not going anywhere. But
And the glue, do you get them in 5-gallon buckets?
we can, but we don't anymore because two problems. It's heavy to handle, and sometimes oops, you know, you pour way too much and you mess up the turf or something else. And the other one is because they come in those big buckets, you're never 100% sure they're closed properly, and then you show up at a job, you think you have a bucket of glue, you open it up and it's a big brick. But we could bring it in, yeah. And there's also a 2-gallon option.
Yeah.
Not in the XGS. XGS only does this, but we could bring it in. It'll be hard to work with those. Like sports fields and stuff. Yeah, if that's what you do all
Because
day.
I have a bucket and we put the semen tape and we just roll the semen tape out and it's picking up with the glue inside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Okay. Another thing that I've never heard. I saw. Was it you that you put the infill, like in between pavers?
Yeah.
Somebody was showing. Oh, yeah. That's genius. So it's basically a pipe.
Yeah.
With infill in it, and you know, it
Just drag.
you basically just drive it above the. If it's a narrow strip of 6 inches, you know, we'll drop the infill in there instead of putting it all over the place, and then you have to sweep it off. Okay. So let's go back in. We'll go a little bit about, you know, the process from end to end, and then we'll come back here with knives and we'll glue and we'll start doing seams. And if you have any specific questions that you want me to focus on or, you know, to discuss, please bring it up at any time. All right. So for applications, I guess everybody here is experienced enough that we don't have to go over that. Playgrounds, landscaping, sports, putting greens. These are the 4 most commonly used applications. Selection, I'll just touch on that. So even though you have all this turf, what we recommend, and you're probably already doing it, is just narrowing it down to maybe 2-3 different types of turf when you show up to a client, because otherwise, too much selection is confusion, and confusion delays the decision. So maybe just keep 2-3 pieces handy and keep the rest in the truck. If they're not happy with anything that they see already, then you can always bring out more. But just so you know, the price of the turf is not driven by the quality. It's driven by the amount of material that goes in, in per square inch. So the quality is all good. So going with the Tropical 40 doesn't mean that it's less quality. It's just less material. It's shorter, and the longer the turf is, the more density we add to it, so it feels right. But you can rest assured that it's, again, 15 years is what we back it up with. It will last much longer than that. I don't see why this would go anywhere in 20 years if it's installed properly and it's got the proper amount of infill in it. We went with 8 years on Durapet and the putting green materials only because we can't control where it's going. So it could be a golf club buying the pro putt and then you'll have hundreds of people every day on it. It will still last very long, but will it last 15 years? We don't know. So as a precaution, we said, okay, we guarantee it for 8 years.
Because of the traffic.
Yes, yeah. And the Durapet, same thing. It could be a police, like we've built, I don't know, lots of dog training facilities, lots of dogs, lots of velocity, in and out, all day long. So that's definitely not going to hold up for 15 years. But, if it's going into a household, like into a backyard or somebody's dog run in the back, you can say 15 years worth, we'll back you up on that. It's more for like in case it goes into a commercial application. For estimates and orders, I'd like to draw a snapshot on how to do this. So obviously you need these are the three main ingredients of an order, and we're adding these two here if there are seams. So obviously the amount of turf, you already know that the turf is directional. I don't know if you guys focus on the direction of the fibers. So in other words, you always want to install it with the fibers pointing towards the viewing area. I don't know if that, let's see if I can show you an example here. So if this is installing turf in a front lawn, right? So the turf will always have a natural way of leaning depending on how it was rolled up at the factory, because it's still warm and it goes into this big roll. So when you unroll it, it looks like this. So you always want the fibers pointing towards the viewing area, because look at what the difference is, right?
Back of the blades.
So from the street, if you're looking, most people will want the curb appeal. So if you're on the street and my house is here, I want the turf installed like this, because this will give me the curb appeal. If people say, oh, no, I want to look out and look at my nice area, of course, then you put it this way, and that's that. Same for the backyard. Ideally, you're looking out your back window towards the backyard, or you're sitting on your patio. It's always nicer to look at this. Now, mind you, once you put the infill and you brush it, the difference won't be that big, but whenever possible, try to always install it with
The view.
towards the viewing area. So because of that, you guys already know you can't just go with the actual square footage. You have to kind of draw it out in your mind and know, okay, I need a 15 by 30 here, a 15 by 40. In a lot of cases, there will be some waste. There's no way around it. If you need help with a more complex estimate, we'll be happy to help you estimate it. Once you have your amount of turf, then you basically have to decide what kind of infill you use. Silica sand and EnviroFill, they're in 50-pound bags. Zeolite is in 55-pound bags. So if, let's say, you need 3,000 square feet of turf, you divide that by 50, it will tell you how many bags you need, or divide it by 55. And the infill, again, the rule across the board is 1 pound per square foot. If you're working with with Durablade 95, because it's much longer, you can go to 1.5 pounds. But there's no need to go for more. And in terms of pile height, I would stop at 2 inch. I noticed, and I think we discussed this, but in the city and in Long Island, people associate the height of the turf with quality. They don't understand that in the long run, 2.25, I've seen almost 2.5 inch. That's huge. How are you gonna keep that up, 5 years from now? So 2 inches, what I would draw the line and say, try to keep it around there. Otherwise, you'll get a call in 2 years saying, hey, something's wrong with my turf, but it's not made of titanium, right? So it's not gonna stand. And at some point, even the wind, if you have a wind gust, it will make it look like a field. So never skip the infill. I don't know if you're familiar with the different types of infill, so I'll just go over it. So our basic one is silica sand. Okay, the roll of this, what it does, it'll add weight to the turf, and it will form a base at the bottom of the bottom here, to make sure when somebody steps on it, it'll pop right up, right? So that's the basic. We have the zeolite organic. So if people are concerned because they have pets and they think they might lick it up or something, this is safe, and it will also trap the ammonia, so it will eliminate the smell. And then we have the Envirofill, I think everybody knows this one, coated with plastic and infused with microban. And then the finer version of both. For putting greens, if you're building a putting green, the rule is the same, 1 pound per square foot. But we recommend first adding just 1/2 pound and then measuring the roll, because the more infill you add, the faster the roll. And once you add it too much and the ball rolls like it's concrete, then you're gonna have to vacuum it out or work in reverse. So start with 1/2 pound, brush it in, measure the roll.
Are there any cooling differences between any of those infills?
This one is supposed to cool off the grass by up to 30%. There's a T-Cool in the market. We sell a lot of it in Florida and Texas, but I don't think there's a need for it here. It's specifically designed for tropical areas where there's a lot of heat, all year round. So if anything, this will help a little bit with that.
So we've had a lot of issues with rooftops where obviously the turf isn't grounded to dissipate the heat into the ground, because you're sitting on a plastic panel that's on top of a rubber roof.
Yeah.
So, in that instance, the only thing you can really do outside of having a cooling infill is to have some kind of irrigation or sprinkler up there. Is there any other solution that you've seen for that specific instance?
No, that's it. Either irrigation or using infill
Gotcha.
that helps, that T-Cool. We haven't really had a lot of requirements for it, but I mean, if it comes to the point where there's a lot of requests, then we'll just bring it in and start offering it.
Gotcha.
So we covered the turf, the infill, spikes. Again, our recommendation, only keep the spikes around the perimeter, every 1 foot apart and about 1 inch from the edge of the turf. The reason we don't like spikes in the body of the turf, because of the shifting, the freezing and the thawing, the nails might get pushed up a little bit, and then you can slice a toe or paw and it becomes a liability. So just keep it around. The infill sand will add enough weight to the rest of the body that's not going anywhere.
So you said 1 foot apart?
Yeah, every 1 foot around the perimeter. So to calculate how many nails you need, you just basically have to add out the sides, and then that's how many nails you need. The 6 foot nails, they come 500 in a box.
6 foot nails?
That's 6 inch nails.
Dang!
You didn't know we had those? So 500 in a box, 250 in a box.
Okay. So what about a high traffic area? So for instance, a paver patio where they're going to be walking in and out of that turf to area. Obviously we're trying to sink that turf lower than that area to not create, a bit of a bulge per se, but every foot of those nails apart, you can still be able to pick up that turf and have a tripping hazard. So would it be advised to do it maybe like 6 inches or 4 inches between them?
Anywhere. So ideally that, but I've had areas where I put more. I put them every so I'll put more in this area and then I go back to 6 feet.
Okay.
But just to make sure I understand what you're saying, so if you have, let's say I have pavers here and I have the turf, you're saying you're going to go lower with the turf?
Yeah, so we would go a little bit lower, about a 1/2 inch lower than the surrounding hardscape. so that the
Okay.
blades of the grass are tall, but the backing is below.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah.
So then the infill would make it a flat plane. But in that instance, I mean, again, you're walking through, the turf could pop up. So if the nails were every foot apart, you still have the ability to pull that turf up to either catch a toe or a heel or whatever. So we would try to put them a little bit closer, every 4 inches, every 6 inches.
You can, but I think that the backing is rigid enough that at 6 feet you'll see, I mean at every 12 inches you'll see it gives you enough.
Okay.
But yeah, you can put more, it's not a problem. As long as, again, you keep it out of the body of the turf. If you have seams, you just have to calculate the linear footage and then either, like I said, get a roll of tape. The full roll is 330 linear feet. We'll sell it by the foot as well. And then once you know how many seams you have, you can calculate how much glue you need. Glue does have a shelf life, so especially because both you guys more, with turf as your main activity, you can load up on it. You can have some extra at the beginning of the season. But if this was September, October, I wouldn't get 5 gallons to sit in the warehouse. There's no point. We'll store it here. We do the same thing. We order a ton early into the season. There's no point in holding on to glue throughout the winter. So I would say the shelf life is about 6 months. We sell the 1 gallon one, the packaging, and 1 gallon will cover 55 to 60 linear feet of seams. So that's the calculation. And then of course we have the extras here, edging and stakes, if you use them. Geotextile or filter cloth, or there's different names for it. We do have it here. I think ours are 6 by 250. So if you want to buy it here and make it one order. The easy lock panels we already talked about. Now the power brooms, you see them there behind you. The small one is something that maybe you could offer to your clients, either include it with a job charge more and include it as a maintenance tool if you're not doing the maintenance yourself. The bigger one is actually a very, very good tool to finish a job or to maintain a job, because what it does, it pushes all the stuff from the top of the turf into the bag, and it brushes the fibers straight up. So when you're done with that machine, if I took a brand new roll and I went down the middle of it with the bigger broom, you'd look amazing. Like the middle would be perfectly up and everything else would be staying down. So I don't think it's heavy duty enough for you to use on every application every time, but to have one as a finishing tool or to go to someone's house in the spring and just freshen it up, that's really amazing. And that's basically it on the theory side. So to sum up the process that we recommend, obviously the base, in most cases you start with the geotextile or the landscaping cloth, put at least 3-4 inches of 3/4 crush. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Compact it, pack it really hard. Then add an inch and a half of fines, chips and dust, limestone screening if you have, also stays compacted and it's permeable, and then put the turf down. Once your turf is down, just again, if there's no nails, if there's no seams, this is when you want to do the nails 1 inch away from the edge, and again every 6 inches, every 12 inches. This is the application for daycares or schools if there's a requirement for the fall safety rating. You could in theory use it all the way. I only put the nailer board here as an example of how to use a nailer board, but you could just go all the way out to whatever it's butting up against. You could also hit the nails through the turf, through the foam and into the base. For that I would probably go with a 10 inch just to get more grip on it. Or you can use it like this, and then you can use staples, or you can screw the turf to the edging. By the way, this here is only for demonstration purposes. You should have the fines in here because this won't compact, right? But it looks better if it's clean. This one here, from all the driving, because this has been to a few trade shows. I don't know if this one was in Kentucky, but regardless, and it's shaken up, so now it looks like it's all fines, but really it's like this size with fines in it. This is another application with, this is an ultra base panel, but it works the same way as the ones that I was showing you, the Easy Lock. With this, you just have to, you skip the fines, you put the landscaping cloth underneath it, and then you just, with this, you don't need nails, you just staple the turf. And the staples, it's the same story. You don't want any in the body of the turf, you just go every 3-4 inches, put a stainless steel staple all around the perimeter.
Do you recommend a size for that staple, whether it's a 1/2 inch, 2 inch?
The bigger the better.
Okay.
Because you want it to penetrate.
You know about that. He's thinking about his side gig.
And then for putting greens, the base is exactly the same as it is here. We just recommend increasing, like I said, if possible, doubling up the base, the 3/4 crush part, and focus on compacting. So the purpose is to make sure that the cup stays straight and the ball will roll straight even 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. Because every winter there's going to be a lot of shifting, so you want to avoid that. If you're doing putting greens, you have questions about the cup installation. We recommend the 6-inch cup, but we do have both the 4 and 6-inch. I just feel like the 6-inch cup gives you, you can anchor it better. We don't use the sleeves that you can pull them in and out. I don't know what you guys use, but what I like to do is I basically use quick setting cement. So I dig a hole about 1.5 to 2 inch, or bigger than the actual cup and deeper. And the reason I want to go 2 inches deeper than the cup is because I want to put some bigger rocks underneath it. So when the water comes through, it doesn't hit the base. It's got a little bit more space to go into the base. And then build it back up with the screening that you dug out in the base. Put some quick setting cement around the middle, and then fill it up again with screenings, with the top layer, compacted. And the recommendation is to always go lower rather than higher, because if the potting green material gets compressed in the winter, there's a chance that the next season, you'll hear the cling instead of the clunk, the ball going in. You don't want the ball to hit the edge of the cup, so you're better off to have it lower. There's plastic cups and aluminum cups. I always recommend going with aluminum cups because they don't get damaged, they don't crack. If something happens to the plastic cup, you have to pull out the whole installation.
Always breaks in the winter.
Yeah. So I didn't even bring them to this warehouse. We just sell the aluminum cups. And we do sell, so a complete pin set consists of 5 elements. So this is the cup, that's the aluminum base, the actual rod, the flag, and the knob. So this would be a complete pin set, regardless of what the size is. We do have I think, or maybe we don't have them here, the 6-foot rods as well. So if like I said, if there's something that you need and we don't have, let us know, because we'll bring it in. We're just trying to keep large quantities of what we sell every day. So, for putting greens, and I'll close the subject for the time being, we have 2 materials and they're both very good quality. So Pro Putt and Bermuda. The benefit of Pro Putt is all green. Some people prefer that all green look. The Bermuda was brought in as an upgrade to it, and for areas where people are chipping onto the green. It's a little bit thicker and more dense, and it receives the ball better. But that's really the only difference. Both will work really, really well, and the difference is 25 cents per square foot, which is essentially the material, the difference in material. But again, you can't go wrong with either or. For fringe, you can use Durapet, or you can go with something longer. So you can see here, this is a bit longer, and Durapet would look like this, basically. So, but there's nothing stopping you from going like this. Like, let's say, if you want even longer. Whatever the client prefers, there's no wrong way to go about it. I've seen a lot of instances where people do 2 layers. So you have the putting green, you have a medium-sized grass next to it, about a foot or 2 feet, and then you got the thicker grass. So whatever. I don't know. Most putting greens that I've built, people ask me, no problem. People ask me for my opinion. I don't know if it's the same with you, or they're like dead set, no, this is how I want it. And that includes the shape. The best way to cut the shape of a putting green, what I like to do is I roll out my rectangle, and then I use a hose with water in it, because it's got some resistance, and you set it up and it stays there. And then you set up your shape, your kidney bean shape, and you can walk around and see if you're happy with the angles and the curves, and you can always play with it. Once you're done with that, you can take a nail and just with this part, just draw it out. You will leave a mark in the putting green, and then you cut it right from the top. I don't know if that's how you use it. Once you have the putting green, just mark it on the base, and then figure out where you're gonna have your cups and how many. Hit a nail through the putting green, so you can mark the base. And you roll up the green, dig the holes, build in your cups. When you roll out the putting green, just cut a hole. You'll feel, where the cups are. Just cut your way to the edge of the cup and use the outside of the cup. So release the blade as far as you can, right?
Whoa.
And just use the outside of the cup to cut out the hole, and this way you will slide right onto instead of riding onto the edge, you will drop. And then once you have all your holes, you can then build the fringe to it. Most of the time people want the fringe to face in one direction. Sometimes people will say, I want to see it facing me when I'm anywhere on the green. So then all that does is, instead of having pieces that go like this, right? And it's all facing in your direction, you're gonna have smaller pieces that you have to cut, and you have to rotate. So there's gonna be more seaming, but it's the same.
Wait till customers know.
Yeah. Okay. It also looks better if it's facing towards the house or towards the viewing area. It looks uniform, the fringe, right? If you have it facing towards the center of the putting green, then it will always look different. Some of the fringe will look different depending on where you look at it. One side will look shinier, but.
I have a question for you. What about the putting green with a foam pad? Is that advised to be used outdoors for, say, a chipping area, as it would have a little bit more of a impact resistant measure to it?
For that, we have the 5 mil pad. Omar, I don't know if there's a piece there of the gray 5 mil. The only problem I have with this foam is that it's no longer, it doesn't come perforated anymore. So some of our contractors, they've been, like, while it's still rolled up, they just drill holes through it, right? They put a few lines, and that gives it drainage. But yeah, I've seen it. But when you do that, you definitely want to use EnviroFill, because the drainage rate won't be the same as going straight into the base.
Okay.
So you want to keep that. You want to prevent the mold and stuff like that.
Okay. So.
And with putting greens in general, sorry, let me just finish it. You want to raise it if you can raise it. So you don't want. You want to raise the base for the putting green up a little bit. It's better for drainage. Sorry, what are you gonna ask?
So in an area where you have maybe a 15 by 20, it's not a significant area. If there's no drainage, we can just pitch it to go away from that putting green, which is fine. However, on larger areas that do require a foam pad to be attached, is there any tips or tricks to be able to cut that turf that has the foam pad already manufactured with it? Because when you cut the foam pad, especially on putting green turf, you can't really see the beads. So try to...
On any turf with the matting. I was going to ask that when we were doing the cutting.
Okay, yeah, just show me what you mean when you're...
Yeah.
We have foam pad and we have putting green material, so we can actually
get into it.
get into it, and yeah.
Fight.
Other than that,
Fight.
everything here is seamed. with our method, and some of the seams are along the stitch and some of them are across. So we cover both, both methods. Let me see. So this is a cross seam here, yeah. So again, I specifically wanted to have one of the shorter ones because just to prove that it doesn't matter how long or how short. See, that's a seam right there. And obviously, if it had the sand in it and it's brushed, it's going to disappear. So that's one of those. There's another good one here. This is also a seam. So I'll give you the trick for the putting green. These are fairly easy to do. This is also easy, but there's an extra step. So when I do this one, you can see that the putting green materials, the fibers on them, they go like they're curly, right? So they push against each other. So when you cut it, it instantly has when you cut the backing, it has the tendency to pull apart, right? Whereas these here, the fibers go straight up. So you cut it and it's just, it doesn't push. So the trick when you're doing putting green seams is to find the right direction, the distance, and then hit a few nails on each side of the seam, temporary nails, just until it dries up. The next day you pull out the nails, the holes will disappear, and then it dries like that. Because otherwise what happens is you set up your seam at the right distance, you walk away, you come back in an hour, and it pushed apart. Like, what the hell? I set it up properly, it was great. So it's because, again, those curly fibers, they push against each other.
Okay.
But that's really the only difference from all these other types of turf. There's another cross seam. The cross seams, and again, we'll do hands-on stuff, but the cross seams, the idea is that as you cut it across, you can see that on one side the fibers are facing away, so you put that down first, and then you close the other one on top. And that's it, it's gone. For putting greens, it's easier because you have a lot of room. So this space here doesn't have to be perfect. You have a lot of room to play with because once you close it and you brush it, and you put the sand, so sand will go in there, the fibers will go over. So
do you have any tricks on, obviously a putting green goes full circle on the way that the turf is leaning away from the putting green? So for instance, the backing, the turf is going that way, and then the putting green. Okay.
It's just a matter of brushing. And part of that brushing is to make sure you have the infill in it. Because if not, you brush it and it will look nice, but eventually you will change direction. But if it's got infill, that infill, when you drop it into the turf, it drops to the bottom and it forms a base there. So it will keep it where you want it.
What?
Now another trick here, and I'll show you when we do the cutting, but you know how the roll will have these two layers of geotextile that are built into the backing? They're hanging like that's from the factory. So before you do a seam, you want to cut this off.
Oh, really?
Well, you say that, but
I've seen people that just lay it on top of it and seam it like that.
One on top of the other, and nails
Yeah.
every 6 inches, and that's
that.
the seam. And then they're like, "Oh, well,
We went
the seam."
we went to a Brooklyn job. They didn't even cut it. They just glued it together.
There you go. So I've seen all kinds of crazy things. That's why I like to review the process and then. So one trick here that will make your life easier: when you cut it off, go at least 1 or 2 beads in, right? The reason for that, you can't really cut this because it's very soft material, go all over the place. It won't give you that straight edge that you want for the seaming, right? So if you go 2 stitches in, the material is very rigid here. So with a new blade, it will slice right through it on one hand. And also, as you can see here, the sides of the rolls, because of all that weight, instead of rolling up, they have the tendency to escape towards the sides, right? So this will make it very difficult for you to have a nice seam. You want something like this where the fibers are straight out so you can put them nicely together. So you want to cut off this stuff here. So you'll always have at least 1.5 inches, probably even 2 inches extra in the width. So if you cut off 2 beads or 2 beads on each side, you still have your width of 15. Okay, but this is it's a simple but very, very good trick because a lot of people try to save material and they cut here, but this is really hard to cut.
So what about turfs that have alternating color beads?
We have the Everblade 80 actually. Do we still have the old badge or which?
We have a little bit of.
A little bit, okay. So with this one here, the Everblade, it's got light and dark, and we call that A and B stitching, right? So the A is light, the B is dark. So what you want to do is, you want to marry, when you're seaming them, you want to marry a light green stitch with a dark green stitch. Otherwise, there might be a line showing.
Can I take a look at that real quick? So how are you able to identify?
Well, this is actually the old one.
Oh,
Victor, do you have a new Everblade? Did you got samples somewhere?
Not for the new ones.
One would be visibly lighter. So light, dark. That's, you know, it's easier to look at. These are from the previous batch, and back then they weren't the AB.
gotcha.
But there isn't a whole lot of actual maintenance that needs to be done here. It's just the brushing. If you want to leave it in the hands of the client, recommend one of the small brooms. If not, a push broom would also do. And as a general rule, we want them to get everything off the turf so it doesn't rot inside, right? But that's really it. So yeah, we're gonna go to the back. We're gonna start cutting. We're gonna do some seams. Do you have any questions about anything else that we discussed here?
As far as you said, put the seam down, put some nails, and then come back the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the cure time for that, the glue that you're using?
Well, XGS on a nice hot summer day, it's a few hours. It's 2-3 hours.
Okay.
And I have done lots of jobs where, let's say, if I'm installing turf now and I can get to the seams by noon, before I leave, I can just brush it. You gotta be more careful around the seams, but you can otherwise brush it, no problem. So one day, if you want to be like in and out, you can do it, no problem. The nails, I'd like to, for Pro Putt in particular, I like to leave them until the next day, just to make sure that you don't come back, because that's the worst, right? It's very short, and a lot of people are afraid of lines in it. The regular turf, you can use nails if there's a lot of movement, but typically once you do your seams, the next step is to, or while you're doing the seams, somebody else can already start nailing it. And it's secure, it's not going anywhere.
I want to show you guys something. See that small brush? Is the best for the fucking green.
That's that one?
Yeah, I use it in Manhattan. And I did a big area, and that small brush I bought it from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Worked the best. Worked the best. This is the area that we did. See this?
Nice.
Multi-million-dollar place. That broom worked beautifully. Beautifully.
Yeah, it does feel sometimes with putting greens, I'm sure it seems like you're doing something wrong, and we get the call all the time, like, I've been working on it for 10 minutes and it doesn't seem to go in.
Yeah.
It takes a while because it's so dense, the putting green. Yeah. And especially if, God forbid, you use the regular sand by mistake, it's gonna take a bit longer. But, I guess the machine is a good solution to that.
It goes in good, yeah, because the previous company I worked at, for putting greens, they would use the compactor, so it would vibrate.
Yeah, it shakes in it, but that even makes it worse because it ships the putting green. But that little machine worked really good, man.
Yeah,
Really
and
good.
thanks for showing that. Actually, it's a good idea. I'm gonna start suggesting it because even when I do installs, I use the power. I have a Makita,
Yeah.
cordless, and sometimes it's just too much. And those bristles are so hard. This is softer plastic, and you will get it in. But the Makita, sometimes it beats up the turf.
Yeah, it grabs it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely I would say you're better off to use a push broom with putting greens to get the infill in rather than the power one. But this is, again, it's much softer and it's not that powerful. And the weight of the machine, it allows you to go over it. Whereas with the long arm of a Makita, for instance, you have to push down, and it's not the same force all the time. So, but yeah, again, just remember to use, again, if it's somebody they're very specific. We've had clients come in with a measuring tool, measuring the roll, and then they add the infill, and they literally want to mimic what goes on the natural grass putting green. So it can be achieved. It's a little bit extra work, but What you don't want is to add too much and then you have to work in reverse on that.
Good old double work.
Lauren, I would love to stay with you guys and do the seams, but I have a client in Hoboken I gotta go to.
You wanna leave the guys and we'll cover it and pick them up?
I have to.
Yeah, you need them. No problem.
Yeah, we're
Listen.
gonna work over there.
I get it, I
It's
get
a
it.
rooftop.
No problem.
But definitely the next class will come for the, but so far we got it down pat with that.
Good, good. I'm happy.
But this was the main thing I wanted to know, about all these stuff that you went through there.
Yeah. Well, again, this is what we recommend. There's
Yeah.
I always find in every group that there's things that they do differently and they like how it works. But at least I have the peace of mind that we've given you the recipe as we see it, you know, as we like to do it. And by the way, these training sessions will be available in the winter. It'll be a regular thing every winter. It's just that this spring, because we were still new, there were so many things coming at us that we couldn't do it. But usually pre-season, January and February, right? You know, so you still have it fresh in your mind. We do them so. Or anytime you say, okay, I have 5 new guys, can you set up a session, bring them in, we'll, you know, let them mess up the seam here, or let them learn how to do it here when they go out on the job. You don't have to worry about, oh my God, you know, what's going back there. So anytime you need training, we'll make it happen.
Cool.
Okay, like I said, use the facilities here, and I think I told you this before, but if you have any ideas, you want to film something, you need train anything at all, if we can help, this space is your space. If you have a client that is in the vicinity, you can bring them here, show them the materials, then you can have the boardroom for 2 hours, just you and the client. So use it as your office in the field, anytime. Okay, so keep that in mind. And give me a call about that big job, so we'll figure out what
Yep.
you need, how much you need.
Once I get the go, I'll definitely call you.
Okay.
All right, guys, nice meeting you guys.
You too. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Cut them straight.
Okay, I'll be right back. Thanks. Wanna grab a coffee? So we'll order some pizza for lunch. You good with that?
Yeah, whatever. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like for an extended weekend,
I'm going there for pleasure.
and then one of them was
Going there
for
to win all the money they have.
one of them was for EDC, which I don't even remember those days.
We win money, I'm getting a new brake cue.
Pool stuff.
Yeah, man.
Why not? You know, like
I need one.
why not install some pet turf in your backyard for
I
your
already
new
have
for your
it.
new puppy?
I already have pet turf in my yard. I need to change. I have,
You see where I'm going with this?
I have.
You can get a great deal.
No, I was looking at those the gym matting. I have it's like foam, and I got it off Amazon. It's like maybe 400 square feet. I ordered it was like 400 square feet from the same seller. It came in 2 separate packages, 2 separate colors. So now like when the sun hits it, it like bubbles up and it's just awful. I got it because I got like expensive pool balls, and I don't want the balls to fly off the table and hit the concrete and they chip. So I needed something. That was just a quick thing. I needed something to prevent that contact. So I'm gonna change out those foam paddings and probably get this.
Yeah, the 8 mil it will give you enough.
It's just so it doesn't hit the concrete. You know?
Yeah.
And then my other concern with that flooring, the matting was supposed to be anti-slip because it's outside. So when it rains or any type of moisture, I just don't want to be out there and slip or whatever. So, but the stuff you have, it feels like it has a little grip.
Yeah.
on it.
So it's rated for indoor,
Yeah.
but for what you need, you can use it outside, no problem.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't want to install it there for like a bar or something. There's high traffic but for outdoor, I mean, we have this stuff, and I want to show you guys because at some point you'll probably come across somebody who wants a playground, or they're talking about turf and rubber, and we have these 2x2 tiles. Super easy to install. You can put them on concrete, or you can put them on aggregate. They interlock with these pins. Can I take out the pin? Yeah. And we have green, red, and green, red, and black. They come with 4 feet of fall safety rating. So it doesn't have to be a city park. It could be somebody with an area like this in the middle of the turf, and it's a very nice product. And
Are they
it's outdoor rated.
are
so-
they required to be glued the panels together or just the pins?
No, just the pins. And once you do six or eight together, it's such a heavy installation. It's not going anywhere. You can box it in with wood, pressure treated wood, or we sell ramps with it, like transition ramps that you would glue on. The glue comes in those. It's like the silicone gun, those cartridges. Yeah. So you just basically put a bead on it. You put them together, give it a few hours, and it's.
But like the bulk of it, just the weight of each other pushing up against it.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So maybe that's also something for you to. And they're very easy to cut. So if you're cutting around something, the same knife. That's my favorite tool, by the way. You just basically can carve it out, and we use the same to cut the 8mm. So if you go, you have to cut them at the wall, or if you're going around something, just with a straight edge, you go once, and the second time it already goes right through. You just need more new blades with it, but. So yeah, this is, I think it's a product that'll do very well, and we have a contractor in Brooklyn who already used them, and he likes it a lot because there's a lot of daycares and schools that their backyard is literally like the space between two buildings, so there's no room for aggregate and stuff. So just lay them down and that's it. And he says we're about 30% lower than everything else in the market on them, so just keep it in mind.
All right, let's get to cutting. Let's get to cutting. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's seam some stuff up.
When are you grading you today, Josh? Joe.
Josh?
Yeah, Davey or Josh, apparently. Me and Wilson, you guys are getting graded.
Okay. So when you do cross cuts, what's your method? Do you chalk line it?
He's the cutter.
The master cutter.
That's
Or
why I
do you
told
try
them
to follow
they're
the
gonna get graded today. I'm gonna grade their cutting.
Oh, okay.
When I'm doing cross ones, especially if it's coming off of the roll, take the back end, a couple lines off, and then just go straight across, just so it's not the factory edge.
Okay.
And then the leading edge just covers that gap, and I'll cut it to. I just go straight across. I don't do a chalk line or anything.
So if you're doing a seam, I would suggest chalk lining it, because the key to a good cross seam is to have two straight lines, right? And the reason is you're basically simulating that it was never cut, right?
Yes.
So the way to simulate that is to have as straight a cut as possible on both sides, and you bring them up as closely as possible, right? So you don't want a gap and you don't want to override them. If you marry those two pieces like that, like exactly meeting, that's going to be a good cross. So there's no way. Once it dries, nobody will see it. If you leave a gap, it will show. If you go too close, then you will have that. So if you're only cutting it because it goes up against edging or pavers or something, you can freehand it. You can even follow these to a certain degree, even though they're not perfect. The puncture, the drainage holes are not perfectly set, but they're straight-ish. But if you're doing a seam, I would find a way. Like I said,
The straight line?
the straight lines, the chalk line is the best.
The chalk line.
Yeah. So this will have a perfect.
Okay.
But
Mainly for seams.
let me see.
Well, for
He said against pavers and all that, yeah, you could freehand that.
For the seam. And for cutting, I always like to start cutting with a new blade, because I keep forgetting, and then when I remember, I change it. I'm like, oh, this is good. It slides right through. Sometimes you're like, you work it, but it's not.
So why do you prefer a blade like that rather than one like his? Is there?
So what's the max you can? Yeah, the problem is, how much more can you?
Once it's dull, I just flip it around.
I know, but
Same cutting.
so I like it because sometimes like I do cuts.
Oh, he's gonna
So-
do like a
so
6-inch cut.
From the top, you want to have some space, right? Like I want to have the ability to be able to release in.
Okay.
For this kind of cuts, I mean, even there, I'd like to have this much out. There's no right or wrong, but again, there's many instances where I find myself I need more blade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then with this one I can
Yeah, for like the foam padding.
padding or thicker turf, and or if I have to cut, like if I'm doing a putting green and you know I'm always cutting from the top, where
Yeah.
I'm cutting the cups for through the thing. Then,
Yeah, whenever I'm going top down, I definitely want a new blade.
right. So it's just I just find it easier. They don't cost more money. It's probably cheaper.
Yeah,
anyway.
I've thought about using the breakaways, but I don't know. I've just always used these ones.
Okay.
And then when you're cutting from the backing, what you don't want to do is you don't want too much blade, and you don't want that force, because what you do when you cut with force, you cut off some of the blades at the back, right? So in this case here, that's probably my problem. Yeah. This right. Okay. So actually, I would cut it like this. And then this way you can angle and see how the fibers are going in that direction. So just angle it like that a little bit. I didn't cut off a whole lot of blade.
Good morning, this is Joe speaking.
I have to seam this together. It holds straight, whether it's this piece or another piece that I cut, because it's cut straight. See, I just bring them close. You can already tell that this is going to be a good seam. So if I was doing a seam right now, I would put a few nails here to make sure that it's secured in position, so when I flip it open to put the tape down, it's going right back to where I need it to be, instead of always having to recalibrate and readjust and stuff like that. So that's what I would do when you're doing cross seams. If you're just cutting to, like I said, to butt up against something, yeah, straightish is fine, because the fibers will give you a lot of coverage.
So, for instance, say this was a piece that we purchased on one roll because only comes in 50 feet wide, and this was the second roll that we get that comes in the second 50-foot roll.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to cut off the tassels
Yeah.
or whatever we call that. Is there any other way to essentially line those two up without recutting this ourselves, just assuming that it was factory cut that way?
If it's cut with the machine, that's as straight as it gets. So you're okay to assume, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but whatever you can do to make sure that it's as close as possible to perfect, that will ensure that your cross seam will come out good.
Okay. Sorry.
But yeah, if they're cut with the machine, not a problem at all.
So straight edge. You don't recommend those S curves or the boxes?
I've done so many seams and they work out great, and it's as simple as that. And if we're going the other way, as long as you stay in between the two stitches, it doesn't matter if you're closer to this or to that. So that amount of detail, it will not matter at all. So same thing, you store it here. If I can get away with one cut, and then tape, glue, and forget about it, then why,
Yeah, why fuss with it?
Exactly. So a lot of the things that will make your job easy or easier are very simple. It's just that, again, there's not a lot of resources that are reliable, because yes, there's a lot of YouTube videos, and some of them I watch them like, oh, this is good stuff, and then at one point like, oh, no, again, So some guys are in Arizona, some are in Florida, some are in, like upstate New York. So the climate changes, the installation process, and also if that installer worked for a manufacturer or had training with a manufacturer, they have a process just like anything else. A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they speak from experience, it works for them, but it may not work for you, because he's got maybe 150 installs before he got one right, or 30 installs. But you don't really want to be testing that on your clients, right? So, yeah, if you ask me, straight cuts, whether it's across the stitching or along the stitching, straight cut, bring it to the it's always going to be a matter of, let's see, just cut this one as well. So, you know, I'll have material for you to cut and seam, so I'll show you how to do a seam and then I'll have you guys do it.
Okay.
Just to see if you like my method and if it works for you. For me, seaming it's a very quick and easy method. So if I want to seam this piece, let's say we're going down the middle here. So the secret for a good seam is the distance between the two pieces. So when you're cutting across, you want to simulate that this was never cut, right? So it's continuous lines. That's why you don't want to have any gaps. When you're cutting along the seams, you want to simulate the distance between the two stitches. You want them to be roughly the same as the two stitches on the back of the turf, right? So if you manage to simulate those two distances, you're good. So in this case here, see, this is a bit too far out. There's one stitch is here, one is here, and here I have what, about a 1/4 inch. So I want to bring it closer. It looks about right there. And then once I'm in that correct zone, I can always play with it a little bit, you know, push it closer or further. And then I get up, I look at it, I really can't see it, so I know this is going to be a good seam. So this is when I maybe hit a few nails here and a few nails here, and I'm ready to flip it open, lay down the tape.
So say these are two separate factory pieces,
Yeah.
right? One's 40 feet, another one's 45.
Yeah.
You finagle those into place. Is there any tools that you have to, like a carpet kicker or a stretcher or
You
anything?
don't need a carpet kicker. I know Gerard uses one. You don't need any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they could be from completely different rolls. So let's say, you know, these are from two different rolls, right? So
Yeah, so
I can do fresh cuts, so because this is the same cut, right? So let me cut off another bead here, so it's not the exact same. And this will give us, you know, it will look like it was a different roll altogether. Right? So now I have this. So what I would do, so because you need a fixed point, right? So I would put something like a few bags of sand here, or maybe just 2-3 nails, right? So this is secured. I get the other roll. I cut off the. Actually, here is this enough? Okay. So this is a second roll. Let's see, this is our second roll. You can cut it anywhere, really. Let's see, cut it here. Right? So they're a completely different piece. So once this is in place, I bring this one here. Because it's along the seams, I'll try to match this distance here. So roughly, that's about there. This can come closer. Right? And then from here on, I look again. You see, that's about right.
Yep.
Okay, so now before I secure anything in place, I double check to make sure that the distance is not too large, because sometimes the distance is bigger, but the fibers cover it and it looks right. So as long as the distance along the whole entire seam is about that much, you know, you fluff it up a little bit, you walk around, you know, looks good to go. I put 2-3 nails here as well, flip it open, tape, glue.
Do you advise on heavier rolls? So for instance, say you're doing a football field, you know, to overlap those in a way and then cut that seam when the two pieces of turf are overlapping? Or because moving that 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch or whatever to get that seam exactly perfect is quite problematic.
It can be. What I would do, even if it's, let's say it's a 50 footer. So by the way, you do one seam at a time. So if it's 50 feet, 100 feet, it doesn't matter. One whole, you never do it in sections. So you do one and then you move on to the next one and do it, the entire thing. So what I would do the first 50 footer, then I would roll up maybe a foot, like fold it up, and then cut off the flap. And I have a straight cut on that one. So I fold it back, then I bring my second piece into place. Again, I fold over about a foot. I do my cut, I cut off the flap, I close it in, and then I know it's a long one, but for that kind of job you need at least 3 people, right? 4 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you just try to bring it as close as possible to.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Right, so if we're seeing these two, in this case I won't be able to secure it, right, because it's on concrete, but
Yeah.
what I'll do, I'll just basically shiny side always down. So you already know that. And then now what I like to do, if it's a longer seam, I like to put a nail at both ends, right? Because you don't want the wind to move it around, and certainly once you have glue on it, you don't want it to flop onto the turf, because then the turf's
Ruined.
ruined. Right, so you pour a bead. You take a V-notch trowel. 3/16 is the one I like, but you can use any of them. So you basically just to make the amount of glue uniform. You don't have to go side to side, as long as you have 2 inches on each side of the seam, you're good.
Okay.
So, and you can carry the excess, just like you do with tiles. If you want it to set faster, you can spray it with water. And the way you see that it's already working is that you see it start bubbling up.
So you're just trying to get an even coat?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Probably a little bit too much on this. So what you can do is just wipe it on the back of the turf. If you have way too much, you can also just pull it to the end here and just cut this off, throw it out, and that's it, right? You don't want to have an excess, because it hardens at the back, on the bottom of it, so something can feel like a rock if you have too much.
So it'll feel different than the rest of the area of turf. Okay.
But this should be okay.
So you said this has an expansion property to it. Do you ever see that
Froths up.
if you put too much on there, the seam will actually pull apart?
It won't pull apart, but the glue will seep through. And even though the distance and everything else is perfect, you'll see a darker line, because
It's the glue you're looking at.
it's the glue.
Not the backing of the turf.
Yeah, and that's the same reason I don't recommend putting weights like sandbags along the seam, because sometimes it's just too much pressure and it will push up the glue either through the drainage holes or through the seam. And again, everything's perfect. The distance, the cut is perfect, and then the glue will show a little bit darker green.
Gotcha. Okay.
So again, I could wait now. I could spray it with water.
Can you spray it with water so we can see how fast that sets up?
Let me just. Oops.
You just went to the bathroom, right? Scoop.
How about water?
I'll get my hose.
You don't have no water in you?
I've never heard about spraying it. Did you?
I mean, if it's like, look at the ball.
Actually, no, yeah, I do.
Why
But
aren't you?
we never sprayed, because we don't use this glue like that. We never sprayed it. And it was just, if it's raining, you have to get it done quick.
So I don't have a spray bottle right now, but
That's all right.
doesn't matter as long as you give it water. Let's see.
So it'll just accelerate the curing time?
Yeah, it's humidity activated, the glue. So you see how it's starting to bubble up?
Yeah.
It's already, so you don't have to wait at all. With or without water, you can just, once you're done, you can just flip the two pieces together and you can move on to the next scene. But this is just for the demonstration. And again, I probably have a little bit too much glue here, but it doesn't really make a difference. But if you put the right amount and you use a trowel, like if we're on an aggregate base right now, I would pull the excess onto the base.
Yeah.
Because that will also help if you have just the right amount of glue, it sets faster. If it's too much, obviously it's going to be a little bit of extra.
Have you ever encountered a time where you're doing a long seam and the glue is already starting to get too tacky enough that you need to start putting down? Like, what's the use time?
So this is where you want to have, like, on a super hot day, humid day, you will see the glue starting to dry up, like you see right there.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes the way you can tell is that when you do this, like it starts to sip in. Yeah, you can see.
Stays those ripples. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you need to do is basically be prepared. Like, have your gallon of glue. If it's 50 feet, then a gallon will cover all of it. And then have somebody follow you right away with the trowel, and then somebody else. Closing it. So if it's a longer one, it's a super hot day, you need to have the crew. The good news is you have 4 or 5 people, you can do a 50-foot seam in 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just have to accelerate the pace. That's really the only difference. There's nothing else.
Gotta work faster.
I don't have that issue.
That's what he's telling you. Gotta work faster.
People off the phone when we're doing seams then. Gotta have all hands on.
And then there's 2 ways. If you don't have the manpower, what you can do is you set up one side and then you bring the next one to it. If you have the people, have 1 or 2 people behind you holding up the turf so it only folds. You decide when to fold it, right? They're just holding it and then just releasing it as you need it, or 2 separate people.
So that way you can feather it in.
Yeah, otherwise you just lay down one. The only focus here is you don't want any glue on the turf here, right? So you don't want any of this going in, and then you brush it out, and then again you have glue on the turf.
So it's advised to put this piece down first because the lean's going that way?
Well, ideally have somebody behind you to help with this. If you don't, you can set down one piece and then just marry this one to it. So normally this would already be set at the right distance, but now I have to reset it.
Yeah.
Right? So again, it's too far out. Okay. So now it seems like it's in the right spot.
That looks good to me.
So to be sure, again,
Look at
I
it.
look around. The beauty of this turf, of this glue, is that it allows you, so if let's say I need to move it a bit more, I can pick it up, I can even move it out, and I can still play with it, right? So the method where people are holding the turf behind you is basically you grab from here, you grab the fibers from both sides, and you close them like a zipper. See, and this way there's no turf caught under it.
Gotcha.
But other than that, so again, you could have, you cut, you open it up, you secure your tape. 2 guys lined up, one with the glue, right after the guy with the trowel, and then 1 or 2 guys closing it up. And once they close it up, they can start walking it already. They walk it all the way down, move on to the next seam, come back 10 minutes later, walk it again. You can walk it every 10 minutes for the first hour. After that, just let it sit there, and you're good to go. If you give it a few hours on a nice summer day, you'll be able to brush it before the end of the day. But always be careful on the seam. But a few hours will already set it properly.
But
you can still play with it. And at this point, I would just go like this. And I walk it. That's all the pressure it needs. I go somewhere else, you know. Like if this is the only seam I have, I start nailing here. Maybe you put a nail in this corner, and then start one in this corner, and then you start going, you know, every 6 inches or every 12 inches, whatever your preference is. 12 inches will work in most cases. Okay, and then again, come back every 10 minutes, walk it again. And it's as simple as that. So this is along the seam. So we can do this one if you want to do the cross seam. So again, here we want to simulate continuity, right? So we don't want any space. We want the backing to look like that. See? Not over, not under.
Just to it.
Yeah, and again, remember that you can always play with it, but the beauty of it, installing it on aggregate, like once you see that, yeah, it meets perfectly here, it meets perfectly here, I put a few nails and now I can play with it all I want because it's going straight back into what I need, right? So I don't have to worry about it. But in this case, so here you don't have to marry them because you'll always be putting down this piece first because the fibers are facing away.
Yeah, and then that one would lay on
this
top.
This one will cover it nicely, and then once you do that, you just basically walk in it.
Okay.
Let it be. And
All right.
I don't know if there's any. There's a simpler method than this. If it's friendly enough.
So.
Like I said, I found it to work like a charm.
Yeah. So another thing that we've been contending with is, so say for instance, you know, like this is a manufactured cut. Mm-hmm. Now, if we're trying to, like this is rolled out and we'll flop it up and over.
Yeah.
We're trying to cut it up to this piece.
Okay.
Is there an ability for us to just come over here and follow this line?
Yeah.
And say, all right, you know.
Absolutely, that will work.
Now we're just gonna be able to piece that together to make that butt cut.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work.
Well, no, because you roughed it.
Yeah.
But there's an ability here to do it with a straight edge or with a chalk line.
So we've tried the chalk line before, doing the project. I don't know if you have any pictures of it, but we were cutting 9.5-inch strips, going 65 feet long. So we took the factory edge as one straight line and snapped the chalk line. Even with the chalk line, when you're laying turf out, you know, you flip it upside down and you pull that chalk line. You know, it's chalk line, so there's about 1/4 of an inch of that chalk that's kind of floating around. So that line's pretty big. And then you try to follow that. Yeah, I know. You try to follow that, and maybe the chalk line isn't getting pulled tight enough. You know, we're not really we're holding it along the turf. So we've had some instances in that where we were pretty far off. We were like an inch off at times. Definitely user error. I'm 100% agreeing with you on that one. Mm-hmm. But
let's try. You want to try it here with the roll? Because so let's say that we're cutting that roll that they're prepping now, right?
yeah.
That's what I'm those strips.
So there was
So what were you chalk lining then?
the turf.
Oh, so
The turf.
The strips are like. Oh, I see. Okay. So, oh, I see what you're saying now.
So
I'm thinking
if you're
9.5, it's
so
not that long, but
so if you're holding a string line and I'm holding a string line, and we're holding it up to the back of this turf, obviously he's pulling me. You know, it's going like this now. You know, and then we snap it, and it's like now it's.
Okay. Well,
And you could take a tape measure and go 9.5 inches, 9.5 inches, 9.5 inches, and do all that. It takes forever.
it does, but it also ensures that. Let me.
Or we could,
roll here.
or we could just set Willie on it, and he just goes through and goes 9.5, straight as can be.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be straight, right? If you have a little bit of space, you want a little bit of space.
Yes.
So I don't know if you figured out, but with
The lean of the turf, we deduct that 1/4 of an inch.
okay, so
Yeah.
you want to have a bit of space. You always want the turf to be sitting on its own weight.
But we want that backing side to be straight as an arrow,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're going to see a gap between the two different pieces of turf. It's a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
So even if we push the backing up all the same, the backing's got to be straight as an arrow because it's going against that concrete form. So even if I'm on that wiggle line, you're going to see it.
So the concrete against the concrete form won't matter because
But it's the same principle if we're cutting a butt cut and it's got to be 15 feet long. You got to have that straight. Otherwise, if you're going to have a half-inch
The
gap.
best way I can recommend is to chalk line it. So what you do is basically you have the roll, look the way they have it now.
Yeah.
You measure from the tip of the roll, from the ends, 9 or whatever.
Whatever your distance is.
9.5. You go to the other side, 9.5. Then you roll the turf back up and you cut on the roll. So you have the roll this high. You know, you snap it tight and then you follow that line, and that will be, I guarantee that will be
Oh,
a straight
you
cut.
cut
A
it
straight
on the
guaranteed.
roll.
Cut it on the roll.
Because that way it has the stability to put that down and pluck it, rather than it just being out and open.
Yeah, so when they're done with this, I was gonna ask them to put the roll on the ground, and I'll show you what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
And that same goes when you have to, let's say, instead of saying give me 5 pieces of 5 by 5, 5 by 12, you say just give me a 5 by 55. I'll cut my own turf.
Yeah.
I'll show you a quick and easy way to cut all that. So on the roll, you have one roll, you have to cut it up. You roll out, you know, let's say the first piece has to be a 15 by 10. You roll out the 10, you mark the flaps on both sides, then you roll it back up so that the marks are on top of the roll. And now your chalk line will be dead straight. There's nothing preventing us. You can stretch it out, snap it, and it's just a thin line. So then you follow it with the knife, and you're good to go. It's gonna be straight for sure. We can try one now. So.
Okay.
You need it to be solid, right? You need it to be stretched out. That's
Yeah.
why on the roll.
Yeah.
See right now on top of the roll.
Yeah. Can't do it.
If you flip the turf around and you chalk line, you can still do it, but it takes more time, and you know it's folding and it's.
That's what we were contending
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
Or we should just drag one of these things to every job site.
Every job site.
We just get straight as an arrow. Obviously, that's not feasible. We're functional.
No, but like I said, you know, I recommend that if you're doing a bigger job with lots of cuts,
Yeah.
just order the cuts here.
Yeah. No, that's what we do.
Put 'em-
Yeah.
oh.
Of course.
Because I was out in a job on Long Island, and they had 2 full rolls because it was just quicker and easier for them to order. But I was the one having to show them how to roll it right. So.
What's up, man? Joe.
Alright.
Nice to meet you.
So find a place. You know, we took up the road, roll it out, roll it back,
Yeah.
cut it. You can do it, but it will take you an hour and 3 people, 4
Yeah.
people. It's a full roll instead of just like 2 of you.
Just take whatever piece you need. Yeah. We had to deal with that. No, in Berlin, New Jersey.
No, I'm talking about
Where-
the rooftop.
Oh yeah, that's a different situation.
Yeah, that's another good one.
But,
And it's Brooklyn. You can't really, roll it out in the street.
Yeah.
It's New York City.
well, we
Yeah.
took on a job. I guess it was like the pool guy bought the turf, but wasn't able to install it or had fear of installing it. So he bought 200-foot rolls and another 60-foot roll, and we had to cut them into like 20-foot sections to go around this pool. And you're fighting the turf, dragging it out, measuring it, and it's big shit show.
Yeah.
When we
And
could have just ordered it right the first time.
For Brooklyn, I have a guy who does, he doesn't like to go out of Brooklyn. He's busy enough there that he just sticks to that.
Yeah.
And the last time I visited him, he was doing a row of, like one guy owns 7 or 8 townhouses in the same, like they're connected.
Yep.
So he was doing all the backyards, right? And every single one of them, he had to, whatever he dug out has to go, everything went through the house. Can you imagine, like digging up, take the dirt out through the house, and like not damage the kitchen, nothing, because everything's super narrow, right?
Yep.
It's like 3 stories, but it's narrow.
We go to Brooklyn. We deal with Jersey City and Hoboken brownstones, where we're doing the same thing.
Yeah, this was a brownstone in
Yeah. Do you got any recommendations for picking up a roll of turf like that and getting it onto either a dolly on the job site, where heavy machinery is not available, but obviously, it's a backbreaking task for labor?
I would suggest, so 2 things. You can, if you have a dolly, like a turf dolly.
We do, yes. The carpet dolly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and how big is the roll that you're talking about? Like
Say it's a 50-foot roll. 3 guys couldn't pick it up. So we kick it off a truck. Now we got to get it on a dolly to move it to a backyard.
Okay, I have a video for that.
You do? Ooh, I like
Yeah,
it.
we were setting up at a golf show. We set up a 72-foot
I like 72 feet.
putt challenge for RBC, and so we installed that, and then we were carrying stuff around with the dolly. It's super easy. Okay. So, see, one or two people lift it up. You run it to the middle, and look how easy it is after that to maneuver, to roll, to turn, to everything.
Look at this. Do that again. This girl's picking it up. Come on, guys.
Willie, you need to do your push-ups.
You got to do more than push-ups.
And then look how the rest, you know, like look.
That's a dude.
Oh, that's a guy?
See, you turn and you move it around, and boom. So that's a good investment.
So we have one of those,
you,
but
you just
we
lift
need
one part.
We need
You're
one.
trying to lift both, right?
No, we lift.
You
we
need a
try-
guy like
we
that?
need a guy like
Yeah, I
that.
think he's saying like if something is too heavy to lift.
Yeah, and then to take it off, look, same thing. Lift, pull that out,
Oh, we just toss it.
done.
We just.
Our rolls are way heavier than that.
Lost my hammer. It's crazy.
Have you guys ever laid down on this and turned it on?
Just roll.
No.
You ever guys ever turned this on and laid down on it?
You can make a pretty big burrito in this. That's mob shit right there, man.
You should get one of those tubes and then joust.
Oh shit. What? Joust?
Yeah, go on the dollies and take one of the tubes and just joust at each other.
You know what?
That's the final level. Joust the fork. I've done stupider things.
So I guess like.
I mean, we're just trying to find answers to solutions that we bicker about all the day long. So,
Yeah. I like those rubber tires.
you know, we're trying to add another third party into it and be like, see, he told us how to do it.
Foam ones. It's like a foam puzzle piece matting for my backyard.
Yeah.
So I had that going around my pool table. So I got like expensive pool balls so they wouldn't crash into the concrete.
Oh yeah.
So when I ordered it, it was like 400 square feet. It came from the same seller. They came in 2 separate boxes, 2 separate days, 2 separate colors. From China.
Shit.
So
So it was your fault.
So now it's like when the sun hits it, they don't match up. They start to bubble up. And it's like, yeah. I just needed something so the ball won't hit the concrete. So I'm probably gonna switch.
Do you know if they're good for like soundproofing?
Probably.
I figured maybe. Because I need it for like for my amp and I play music.
What about
I
just
don't
a piece
know
of
if I have a
turf?
picture of it like bubbling.
It's on the wall.
Why not?
Would that be good?
Just staple it to the wall. Nail it in there with a big washer. Rivet through. You should be fine. You're just trying something to divert the sound waves, right?
Yeah. Then again, the downstairs neighbor, he jams too. So.
Maybe I got him complaints.
Or are you talking about sound bit like on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the foam pads.
Right?
Yeah, those will be good.
Custom samples. Just start slowly taking.
Next week he'll be like, why are we short on phone?
Yeah.
You guys working today?
No, we're doing this.
Let's say he's here.
Happy hour.
I mean, I got
work here. I got my shirt, my boots.
I've got office stuff to do. People keep blowing up my phone.
Your phone?
My phone did it.
Who's operating the phone?
Me, because I'm an idiot.
The phone didn't take the angles. The phone took the pictures.
But you can't do
Somebody else took the angles.
you can't do what I do. You can't pull out a tree stump.
You didn't either.
He's like, whoa, damn.
I wasn't even there, and I know he didn't.
You think he did it?
What's that saying? How's that saying go?
Whatever happens, happens.
No, the on the business in the business.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah. So you're saying I'm gonna be staying in Vegas?
I think you're gonna be staying in Vegas.
I doubt it.
He's gonna get
You
married.
said I'm gonna be there too long anyway.
He's gonna get married and come back and
Yep.
divorced.
Tattoo. Do you know where the chalk line is, by any chance?
I didn't even know we had it.
Oh no. Okay. All right, so we roll this up because we cut samples off of it anyway. It's a bit of a pancake more than I told you, but let's say this is your full, 15 by 50 roll, right? And you need to cut off 15 feet. So basically what you do, you just roll out. How much do we need? 4 feet? And I don't roll all the way, but basically.
So you need 4 feet?
No, but what do you need cut? Like what?
What do we need? 18 by 18.
Huh? 18, yeah.
18. Mark it here. Small roll, but tuck it in a bit more so it's tighter. Okay, and then just hold it to the point where the mark that I made,
On the top?
right on top, yeah. A bit more. Okay, is it on top there?
No.
Yeah, because it didn't. Anyway, it's okay.
So if you pull a straight line to that and then cut that, is that what you're planning on doing?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit tough to
Already cut.
Yeah.
So attach the straight line.
Ideally, you want it on top, not at the side, because that's when you get it. But you know what? You got the chopper? Yeah, he has it. Yeah. Shake it up a little bit. Oh, okay. Give it a little shake.
Oh, a red? Whew, man,
Yeah, blue.
So put it right on
on the cut.
the cut. Hold it as tight as you can. Okay, okay, okay.
Woo!
Thank you.
For some reason, that chalk is a little bit straighter than ours.
I'll give you the brand. So again, you don't even need to be, that Swiss precision, but if you go slower, you can be exactly on the line. And you always want to do this with a new blade.
Oh, oh,
Anyway, it's okay. The problem we're working with a small roll, but
okay. So now we have that cut, right?
so that would be back on the roll, and I got my 18 here.
So let's pull this up here, and then this would be, yeah, so these two are, can we flip these over?
Yeah.
So this was a factory edge, right?
This was a machine cut, yeah. Actually, no, it's a factory, so.
So then, like we're trying to simulate like a butt cut. So it'd be like that, right?
Fairly straight. Okay. So we're doing this seam here. So as long as so again, we want no gap or very little gap. Definitely not overlap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That, I mean,
This is going to be a good seam.
yeah, that could
It may
work.
not look like it because of this has the tendency to curl up, but looking at the space. So right now, what I would do, I would put one nail here, one nail here, one nail here, and then the same on the other side. Flip it open, put my tape down, put a few nails so the wind doesn't wiggle with it.
So we'll chalk line it.
Trowel. Then I would put this side first. Right, we put this one down, and also it allows us to see that about half the paper, the glue is on this side. And then when it's done, this one doesn't have to be married like a zipper because it's already flat, so we're going to squeeze it.
Okay.
On one end, and over. And then once we did that, same thing. Every 10 minutes for the first hour, 10 minutes, let it sit. It's gonna disappear for sure.
Okay. Okay, so we'll chalk line them going forward.
But you could, in theory, you could also flip it and chalk line it, but this is the way I've been doing it, and
Okay.
it's simple, and also it allows you to keep what you don't need still on the roll instead
course.
of working with big pieces and roll it up, because when you unroll and roll it back up, it's never as tight as the machine would do it. It's always like
Oh yeah,
right here and there.
we've done that before. Oh, she's really floppy. All right, guys.
If you're not happy with this, let's say, because this was a factory cut, so if this didn't look good, you just flip it back, chalk line it.
And do it again.
Yeah, just cut it straight-ish, and it will work. So there's always going to be room for error. It doesn't have to be Swiss precision, but straight lines always help.
That's why we have Willie.
Straight as an arrow. Or if it's a square, you can take a tape measure, measure like 36 inches, make a slit, and then just connect the dots.
You could do that. I don't like doing that because it almost never works for me.
Okay.
Like it measures perfectly, everything's good, and I have to lay down like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I just do on the spot.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if you guys do the release cuts. Though that's a very accurate way also to
Release?
release cuts. Let me show you on this.
Yeah, when there's tension.
Oh, relief.
Yes.
Oh. He said release.
Same thing.
It's a tripping hazard. Whoa!
He said, "Yeah, I'll take him."
Any other issues that
All American.
we've had?
So let's say you want to cut around something that's this is too even, but even here we can show you. So let's say your roll is like that.
Yeah.
So you basically just cut into the material. A little bit of extra blade helps. So two ways to do this. You can basically go like this and say, okay, I cut it here.
So you pinch the backing down to where you want it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you always, like I said, you always go 2-3 inches at a time. This is one way to do it. Yes, on the back it looks like a hack job, but how nicely it wraps around, right?
Sure.
So one way to do it. The other way to do it is
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about this edge right here.
which
Like the edge you're about to cut
like
now.
that.
No.
Oh.
Just like this, but this edge is harder to like hide, like if you make a mistake or anything.
So another way to do it is you do the release cuts like this. So you go down to where the, okay, so one, you move over about 2 inches.
Like this side of the turf, I hate
Yes.
cutting.
This.
It's because the lane is going away.
Yeah.
That means it's showing your true cutting.
No, I seen yours too.
Okay, and then you just flip it and then connect these dots here. So from here to here, right? From here to here.
So you're scoring it and then you
Yeah,
go,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
And then if we had one more, this here.
Yeah.
Oh wait, did I forget something? Oh yeah, this one first.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks a little short.
A little short, yeah. And again, this doesn't have to be like, because you're following the shape. That's why you're doing the small pieces, right? So it could literally go like this. And again, looks like shit there, but put it in. Did I miss something here?
this is what you were asking about. When you put the sand and you brush it, some of the sand will fall in there, the brush will push this up, and again, this could go further, that way you don't have to, and that's it. So what you don't want is, you never want to ride up, because then it flips the fibers towards you instead of straight up, and this is a different color, different look, so you always want it to sit under its own.
Yeah.
It's a bit too tight actually, so I probably want to grab it a bit more. There you go.
Okay.
Right? So you don't always have to pre-cut, but if you have to do like precision cuts around obstacles, one of these two methods works well.
Okay.
Okay, the roots. And see, what you don't want is when it presses up, this gets darker, because now it's not, see, you don't want that. You want a little bit of like this.
So just
It looks natural, because from here it doesn't even look like it's pushing up against
just the
it.
same spacing as it normally would be,
Yeah.
you know, throughout the entire roll. Let me ask you something as far as like an employee jumping on the responsibility of cutting turf. I mean, after how many sessions or years or jobs do you think that you would be comfortable to put somebody on the responsibility of cutting?
I really think it's a matter of, just like with everything else with employees, you know, like who is up to the task. And some people are always going to be sloppy and they'll never be able to cut, right? Because it's just not in them. They need jobs, they go like this, like whatever, right? And then you have the type of people that are more detail oriented. Because once you explain it and they try it once, twice, 3 times, if they can't do it, they probably won't be able to do it.
Yeah, but in this field, we are having the guys that we need to just go in there and do demo and stone dust and wheelbarrow and dirt removal, more aggressive tasks, and then there's more precision tasks like the cutting and the nailing that needs that finesse. So it's hard to find a guy to kind of fit both structures on the days, right? So it's kind of a unique person that you're finding to add to your crew that can be capable of doing both of those.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely not try on the job. So when it comes to cuts, I think the important thing is to go to the theory, to the motion, like we did inside. You know, this is how you want to cut, and then do a session like we're doing here. Okay, here's a piece. Try to cut around this, or try to cut it straight down. Stay between the 2 seams.
Yeah.
Don't hurry. Don't have too much blade out. So explain it, and then after a day of training, they should be cutting.
Really, that fast?
It's not even straight. It's not even about straight. It's understanding why we do it the way we do it, right? Because none of this stuff is straight here. Even the straight line, the chalk line is not straight. Because like I said, I was going fast, but I understood that as long as it's straight and I don't do these, it's gonna work.
Sure.
Same here, same with those seams. So in theory, it shouldn't take long. Like explanation, a little bit of practice. If you don't have it,
Yeah.
it may not be for you.
No, I got you.
Go to the base.
So
my son was bitching, right? Because I hooked him up with a landscaper for a summer job. He's like, oh, what the hell, you know? And it was one of those properties where they couldn't take the bobcat to the back, so everything has to be wheeled there.
sure.
So like, all these guys are screwing around and doing this, and you know, all day I'm carrying stuff. I'm like, what else do you do? Like, do you know how to cut? No. Do you know how to seam? So then shut up and go and do what
Exactly.
they're paying me for. Yeah. But yeah.
So on average, what is, you know, a person on a crew for synthetic grass typically make either an hour or a day? On average, do you have any understanding of that?
No, not really.
No, okay.
I don't know what because I work in several markets.
Yeah.
All I know is that for the price of turf installed, pavers and interlocking brick is in line with what people charge for turf installation. Some markets go up to 20% below that, just so they can say, yeah, it would cost $25 to have this, you know, brick. I'll charge you 23 or
Sure.
$22 to have it covered in turf. And the reason most installers that do both like the turf and they try to stir the customers towards it, because, you know, with stone there's a lot of lifting. Take it to the site, to the backyard, to here, to there, one by one. Whereas this one, if you want to cover 500 square feet,
So you can't do that any longer. Insurance created a new category. So if you're installing turf, it's a different insurance policy
yeah.
for for businesses, yeah. So if any business is registered, they have to now get insured for that new category.
That's crazy. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So you can't double dip. You can't be a hardscaper and a turf installer under the same insurance policy. They'll get you.
Wow.
And that started this year, right?
Yes.
Of course, they're trying to, you're trying to diversify, trying to make your life easier, and and they're trying to get in the way.
Yeah. Well, it's like landscaping and snow removal. They both require a truck. They both require a shovel. One's totally different insurance than the other. You know what I mean?
We've done what? This was done 45 minutes ago,
I don't even think it was
About
that
an
long.
hour?
Yeah, it was already tacky when I pulled it up.
right? So at this point, you can probably still remove it, but it's already far enough in the setting process that it may not set properly, right? 'Cause it's already activated and it's
Sure.
doing what it's supposed to do. But in those first 15, 20 minutes, if for whatever reason you have to, you can play with it. It's not a problem. The beauty of setting the pieces in place and securing them is that it's a mechanical, putting the tape and the glue, it's all mechanical. There's no intelligence required because you already, the precision is setting them up.
Yeah.
Once it's set up, then it's just make
Oh.
sure you don't put not enough glue because then it doesn't grip properly, and don't put too much glue because you don't want it to come up.
Sure.
But other than that, it's just flip open, flip close, flip open, flip close.
It's mindless.
Yeah, be careful, man. Don't cut yourself.
Mindless. Can we try cutting a piece of that foam?
Oh, yeah,
Do you,
it's here.
do you mind?
You're still doing
Oh, it's on the thing? Yeah. Just lift it a little bit. We don't really need it off the thing. Just lift it a tiny bit so you can move it out. I think it's at the bottom, the edge.
It's on the bottom, yeah. It's right here.
It's good now?
It's right here, my finger.
Oh. Okay, let's put it down. Here.
So we wouldn't be able to use the claws to pull that though.
Is it the same material that you were working? Maybe it's a different material?
Yes, it's this material.
Okay.
Well, no, this has a felt backing on it.
yeah,
Look.
yeah.
See,
So
that's
again-
like reinforced.
Even this shiny side feels different too.
No, I think this is the stuff that's glued to the back of the turf. But it doesn't have these, I don't know how to say it, weed
here-
barrier through it. Well, we use our knives. So we use the serrated ones.
Why? Because that's why you're getting all the...
So it like chunks it up. Yeah. So like, for instance,
So it's not the foam, man. It's the knife.
it's the knife. It's the guy. Yeah, see? See like that?
This is
I
the
know, but
blade.
look at this.
What do you mean, look at this? I can't see.
Saying it's because the blade you're using.
Yeah, it's serrated, so... And again, I'm screwing around a little bit with it, but like there should be no issue with this.
I mean, you saw what happened with this one.
Well, that would also still work. I wouldn't go for the serrated one, but if that's what you prefer, it's not a problem.
So straight blades on the foam.
On everything.
On everything. Why do we use the serrated ones?
You tell me.
You don't know?
That's what you get. That's why we use them.
My whole life is a lie. All right. So because this has that felt backing on it, which one do you put the turf on? You put it on the felt or this?
No, on this. On this.
Turf goes on that.
Yeah.
So the felt backing goes on the bottom. Does that act as a weed barrier?
Yeah.
So that we don't need to put a weed barrier down underneath it.
Well, you put it underneath, like at the very bottom.
Yeah. So between the earth and the aggregate.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's all. And then the turf itself has 2 layers built into the backing.
Okay.
So there's no installation of turf where you require that anywhere in between. At the very bottom, and the turf secures the top. So there's no.
Okay.
Only with the panels you need that because you put the cloth on top of the gravel underneath, directly underneath the panel.
Yes.
Ultra base or easy lock panels for that. The solution is to find a way to bring the turf in and it's sling, put it down.
I got you. A helicopter. We just plop it in place.
A crane?
A crane would be good. Hell, I'd love to be a crane. These are all the problems that go through our heads when we install.
Hey, listen, it's good stuff because I want to know what the problems are. And I
Oh.
was just talking to Joe and he's telling me about some other turf that
Yeah.
like he's like the backing is so hard that it's super heavy, so a 15 by 30 weighs a ton, or you know it's so scratchy that you do a turf job and your arms are all scratched up because the stitching on the back. So you know I didn't know about that, but now I can use that because he said our turf is much better for me. Okay, so I learn issues and problems and maybe I can make suggestions, but like the helicopter.
Yeah. Hey, Sid, I'll tell you where our next job is. Just bring the helicopter.
That's premium delivery rate though.
Yeah.
Just charge an extra, I don't know, $30 per square foot. And
For a helicopter, it's gonna be a lot more than that.
Per square inch.
Get it dropped off.
All right, so that's that answer. Can we see a cut of the Everblade? The AB?
oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I got so much.
Everblade, the one that just came in a couple weeks ago. The 80. You can put this back. I know it's messed up, but we'll deal with it. We'll make it your problem, but later.
Yeah.
And again, if you wanted to do like you take a drill, high velocity, and just go boom, 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 and you know you can add some extra drainage
Yeah.
or have a bit of a great. And with putting greens in general, if you can raise it above the ground, that's better. Like bring the base a little bit higher.
Yeah.
It helps with the better. Do you need samples for this one? No.
Can I get us? This is the new one with the dual blade.
Yeah.
Can I get a sample of that for my box? Because I don't have one.
Yeah. If we don't have it, that's what I'm asking. If we don't have it, let's cut off 4 feet, and then we'll do the same thing, and we get another chance to chalk
Okay.
line, and
Okay. Yeah.
maybe you cut this one.
Okay.
Or maybe you
No,
cut
let
it,
him
so-
cut it. I'm not supposed to be in the business. I'm on the business.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, let's do 4 feet. So leave it at 21. That's still a sellable feet. Very nice.
Let's go. Cut it open.
You got some long nails to cut that easily.
I would do this for a living.
That knife. I wish.
So we're cutting off 4 feet.
Yeah. I was gonna ask for my knife, but then I remember that you guys use your own knife.
I gave it away when I was there.
Pass it. Right here. Yeah. So that's a lot more on centered than the other one. I'm on.
Level cut, man. Look at that, straight on the line. And that's the way I try to tell everybody when they cut. Instead of bending the arm, just put it straight like the way he did and just walk backwards, because that will get a cut.
He's cut a lot of feet of turf, I'll tell you that. Probably more than your Acura cut.
Okay, so just roll this off, so I still have the rest of it in a piece. Can you adjust the label to add to the board?
That's how the Mexican contractors do.
Oh.
We're like,
Okay, you wanna do this cut as well?
Let her rip.
okay, so on this side, yeah.
Yep. So this is our 18. Okay. So see the light one? That's a dark one. So the light one has these ultra light pieces that you can't miss. See? Dark,
And it alternates
light,
speeds?
dark. Yeah, it alternates. So it's AB, AB, AB.
Okay, so this leading edge here is a light bead, right? Can I see this? Just to. That looks like a light bead. This looks like a dark bead. Is this a light bead? That's a dark bead. Well, that's a light bead. Is a dark bead. Can I take one bead off here?
Yeah.
I just want to see how noticeable it is for if we don't do it. I can't really tell. Yeah, so that's light on light.
It's probably not the end of the world,
You can't even tell.
but that's the correct way of doing it. So
And then this is dark.
yes.
This is light. And can I cut a bead off this?
Yeah.
So now we have dark and dark, right? This one's
So this is light and light.
Light and light, light and light.
okay.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe on a larger area, and from standing up, you might be able to see it better. If
Okay.
it's the same color, whether it's light or dark. So, you know, let's see.
So for me, I'm trying to make it mindless, as you said. So like if I'm not at a job site, I just tell the guys cut off 3 beads. Now if I cut off 3 beads and 3 beads and it gets to a light or a dark, specifically on this product, you know, that's kind of where we have to start down. All right, well, did you remember to cut off 2 beads or 3, you know?
I don't know if that mat would necessarily be accurate on all the rolls, because maybe, you know, I don't know how they set it up. So it's probably best to have a piece and to show them, explain the logic.
Or just get it and cut it and see what it looks like and then move it over.
Or that.
If-
Worst case scenario, you know, before you seam it, you still have a look at it, and it's not that difficult to remove a bead.
Yeah,
Because it runs right down the stitch, so. Because
okay.
it's irrelevant, when you're doing cross, like at this point, it doesn't matter, right?
Oh, it wouldn't matter on that way either?
It wouldn't matter, no. No, because it's like all over the place, and the brush will also push it all over, so.
Okay, 'cause-
Look how much fiber there is.
Because I was going to ask you if it does matter, you know, for a butt cut.
Because
How would you do that? Would you like put a witness mark on the turf and kind of line them up to that?
No, that
Okay.
doesn't matter. Because right now, the turf is still new, so it's still in the lines that it was set up at the factory, because it was rolled right up.
Yeah.
But this will be pushed in all directions, and there's enough fiber that it's
Not an issue.
not, yeah. But if you go this way, there's a straight, long line of light or dark, and it will show, it might show. I've never really seen it, but I just know of it.
Okay.
I hope you never see it.
Well, I can say for certain we're gonna see it soon because that's the new turf that's being pushed out. So
No, but I mean like
Seeing
you're not gonna see it as the
Oh.
customer say, hey,
Yeah,
why
seeing
is
the
there a
eyesore.
yellow line on my turf?
oh yeah, we'll just go color that one green.
Just
Okay.
walk on it with dirty boots and,
That's true. All right. I just wanted to see how prevalent it would be.
yeah, you can't really tell, I guess, at this. But again, once it's clean and it's brushed up and everything, that's probably when.
Yeah.
I kind of see a light strip here, but it could just be my imagination because I know about it and I know it's supposed to be there.
I don't know. You doing that makes it look a lot darker. Daddy? Is that you?
Yeah.
And that's light to light.
Yeah. I mean, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, you see it?
From this angle, I think it's because the blades are facing, they're pinching back on it, so but it's really difficult to see.
Oh yeah, you can see it more from this side than this back.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I see a yellow line here, but again, I don't know if that's my, is that where you see it?
Yep. But like from the back side, it doesn't look that noticeable. That's what does it here.
Most of the stuff that we see, retail customers will 99% never know about it. Same with the direction. Yeah, I showed you. Yeah, try to direct it towards the viewing area, but if you put it sideways, they'll never know.
But that's what they're relying on us as professionals to just do. I mean, if there's an issue, we're gonna relay that to them, but a lot of the times they're paying us to just deal with all the problems and make sure that we're comfortable with the products to be able to install them perfectly. So, you know,
No,
it's
but they wouldn't know, so that's just a matter
Correct.
of like, it's a suggestion. But sometimes you have a guy who doesn't want to pay the money, you need the job because you need it, and then their backyard is a 15 by 45.
Yeah.
So the correct way to do it, in my mind, is to do 15 by 15, 15 by 15, 15 by 15 with two seams and have it face the house.
Yeah.
But on a budget, and he's an asshole, and you're like, you know what, 15 by 45, roll it out, nail it down, brush it, it will still look great. It will look 95%, not 100%.
Yeah.
He'll never complain about that because he has no idea. Most of the installers don't pay attention to that either. So,
yeah.
but if you have the information, you know, you can manage it.
Yeah, well, we have a whole list of terrible turf jobs, specifically in our town, which makes me irate, but
3/4.
That's-
Yeah, I was in Switzerland a few weeks ago, and there was a hotel with some turf in front of it, and I'm like, what? I took pictures of it. I'm like, I'm gonna show that in training. This is not acceptable.
yeah,
Switzerland.
We went to the mall that one time. They had the turf inside.
yeah. They glued it down on tile, but it was going in two different directions.
That was like the lowest turf.
And we're all
Garden State Mall. Have you been?
Yes,
Lately?
yeah.
You know that, what do they call that area where there's like
there's like a little
green
area.
garden or something like that?
We were there. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
I was there a few days ago, and I went. It's like the shittiest turf.
Oh, I know.
And then I went to the edge to see how they done it. It's double-sided tape, the way I do
Yes.
it at trade shows. You know?
yeah, yeah.
I'm like shitty turf.
But you can't do that in a public setting. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
On that house on
I think the
Avenue
people
C.
that were walking behind us, I was like, this is not the
House
wrong
on
way.
Avenue C.
Call
They're all
this.
bad, man.
Just like a bunch of pieces like that.
Yeah, it was just plots together.
No, it doesn't. Call it
No,
out.
but people are like, oh, it's nice. It feels nice to step on it, and they stop there. Like they don't look for.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because, you know, you're paying money for it. Have it done properly at the infill. Have the
Of course.
things stand up.
Of course.
Different.
All right. Anything else, guys? I got all my questions answered. You good? Really?
Anytime, like I said, anytime something comes up, give me a shout.
Yeah.
If we have to do training, redo training, anytime, guys, like we really want you to be 100% as far as we're concerned. So
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
no problem.
For everything.
Thank you
Very
for
nice meeting you.
making time. Likewise.
Do you need these guys to help you clean up?
No.
You sure?
Good. 100%.
All right. Hey, he's got two guys. All right, we're gonna head out
Good luck with your Vegas gigs,
through there. Yeah,
both of you.
both of yous.
I'll nail it.
All right, we'll be in touch, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to take any of these with you if you want? You're more than welcome to. For,
That's all right. I got.
this is a playscape, by the way.
We have a playscape. Yeah, it's the lower
Grab
profile.
your sample that we
The
just.
sample, the new turf you saw that?
Yeah, this is
The new one?
The one that we just cut.
We have the playscape.
Oh, you do?
The one that we just.
Yeah. Oh, this one.
Oh, the Everblade. Yeah, sure.
This one.
You want me to tape on the label to it, or no? Because actually, then
You want a spec sheet on it?
Spec sheet. It's the same specs as the other one. It's just
Yeah.
AB AB.
yeah, it's true.
I think that's too big for my box, but I'll cut it down. I know how to. I know how to cut it now.
You can show you.
All right. Busting chops.
50 is the same idea, right? So keep in mind both 80 and 50.
Gotcha.
They're the 80
Okay.
and AB stuff.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Have a great day. All right.
Guys, good luck. I hope you have a good season.
Thank you. We're
A little snack for the road.
a little snacky.
Take them all, because otherwise,
Bring them home to your girlfriend.
man, I don't love her.
Oh my God. Victor, thanks again.
All right, Victor. Yep. That's a big one.
We'll be in touch, all right?
All right, take care.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Nice job. Nice work. We just got finished up with training. We had a pretty good time. They answered a bunch of our questions, which was awesome. If you guys have any questions or you need anything other information, reach out to Rymar. They have a bunch of locations throughout the nation, but we're gonna head back to Bayonne. Make sure you cut it straight. We'll see you on the next one.